Hi everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to Team Thought. Grab your coffee, water, tea, whatever you're drinking. Go and get that. Um, Please drop a one in the chat if you can hear more. Can you hear me? We have a very quick live today. By quick, I do mean there's a lot of information, but I want us to get through it. Um, let me read you something. Very, very, very rarely am I impressed by the writing in an autobiography. Like, very rarely. This memoir, like, in a. DJ, can you hear me?
Yep. Hi, everyone.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Okay. So, very rarely am I impressed. One, the cover is absolutely stunning. Let me say this before people say I'm a Brandy stan, blah, blah, blah. It's not a thing. It's never a thing. People call her the vocal Bible, and I have no clue what people are talking about. So let me just put that up front. I think it is fair to put my bias up front. I think Brandy has a really pretty voice. I love most of her songs. I think she is really talented. Actually, this is random, but I was one of the very few children who thought she was pretty. And I remember fighting everyone because you know how people are like, oh, someone is just pretty, they're not that talented, right? I used to say that Brandy is really, really pretty and she's a great actress, but I did not necessarily, I love her voice as like a tonal thing, not like I didn't think she could belt or hit the really high notes, but I knew she had really good control of her instrument, right? I know she has. But I remember being in Jamaica and saying how pretty she is, and everyone is like, no. So I do remember that. I remember fighting with everyone because I think she was really beautiful. Anywho, when she became the first Black Cinderella, I wanted to run in everyone's face and say, I told you, period. Anywho, I'm not here for none of that. So I just want to say, Brandy, apparently, if that girl has been that girl, I'm just not a part of the Brandy train. I just think she's really pretty, like her voice. It is what it is. Not a huge fan, but don't like I don't worry. I don't think about Brandy in like a large way. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I am reading this book, right? And I have not been blown away by such good writing. Oh, you're right. You're right. Jamaicans are colorist and futurist. Yeah. Um, but the writing in this is we're not gonna start here. I'm just gonna read. Let me read something she said. Please God, let me save it, this thing. I thought I knew exactly where this was. So on page, what page is this? All right, I think this is it. She's talking about her friend. We don't care nothing about the friend yet. Well, I'll talk about this chapter in a minute. But she said, gradually, however, those patterns eroded, sporadic at first. Eventually, the missed calls between us accumulated like fallen leaves. It was both of us. Days of silence stretched between conversations. And when we did manage to connect, his voice seemed to reach me from increasingly greater distance. His interest in my professional journey and personal well being never wavered, but I sense a widening gap separating us far beyond a few missed calls, a chasm that geography couldn't explain and time couldn't heal. I was sorry. The picture of the missed calls piling up like leaves is like something that I've never thought about, and to like invoke that kind of imagery is really intentional and beautiful and specific. And whoever wrote this book, if it's Brandy, girl, you ate that. If it's a ghostwriter, girl, you ate that. Um, but it goes on, and the way it's written, it's very kind, it's straightforward, but like also really poetic. Like I don't know, it's just so well written. Like I'm very impressed. I If you haven't gotten this book, please get it. Please get this book. We'll have it tangentially as a part of the book club because we're reading another book. We're reading this book, Bad Feminist, right now, and I'll make the video on this for the book club. But at some point, we're gonna go over this too, because like it is so well written. Anyway, we'll get to it. I'll get to it. I just stopped myself in the middle of reading it because I don't want to give away. I realized that's the same chapter that she talks about Wanye, and it was literally going into the Wanye section, and I was like, yeah, no, we're not going to give it away yet. So, anywho, um, any thoughts before we start?
No,
You don't care.
no. It's not that I don't care. I this is something that I'm adding to my list as well. I've only really engaged with the book when it comes to people's commentary online, particularly surrounding her and the older man.
Yeah,
Whatever his name is from Boyz II Men. So yeah, that's pretty
Wanye.
much the extent for me. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. And I'll read that section when we get there. So that's all we need to know. All right. Um, oh, yesterday a friend of mine, while I was coming home from work, because I stayed until like 11 o'clock in the office and I was going home. And my friend was like, stay, if you're gonna take the train, I need to be on the phone with you. And I was like, okay, period. And then my friend told me that they were in love with me. And now I don't know what to.
Oh,
Yeah. So it was like a joke. It was like, oh, I need to stay on the phone with you because I don't want anything to happen to you because I'm in love with you. And I was like, ha 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 ha. And they were like, wait, I'm serious. And I was like, oh, well, you see, the thing is, it's a chop. That's the thing.
well,
The thing is, girl, it's a chop. Anyway, let's get into this. All right. If y'all know how to deal with this, let me know in the chat because it's a chop. That missed calls piling up like leaves got my attention to. I love create. Me too. It was just hey, sober Bobo, welcome. The way to my heart is to create a very good imagery that is unique. Like I've seen things piling up like leaves written in books, but I don't think I've ever seen calls piling up like leaves. I don't think I've ever seen that. And it's not just that, like throughout the book, as she's writing, it's like coloring with words, imagery that like they're very striking. For me, they're very striking. And I love it. So we're going to get into some stuff today. Today, we're going to talk about the Jay-Z interview. We might get into the Megan the Stallion thing, definitely Chilli, Nick Cannon. We might not get to J. Cole. We might not get to J. Cole. It might be a chop because I just don't care. One of the questions I wanted to ask is, are you a coon? By the way, DJ, when I say are you a coon, not you, I'm not asking you. What do you think about? Like, does that question make sense, or do I need to clarify?
who are you asking?
Just generally to the public, are you a coon? What does that mean to you?
It means disrespect. That's what I'm getting from it. I mean, I don't know. If somebody asks me, like, why are you? I'm putting myself in a position of somebody being asked that question, and I'm just gonna assume you're being disrespectful. Because why are we jumping there?
um, I feel like you should do something to figure out if you're a coon. Like who? I feel like I feel like the question about coonery should be a question about who are you performing for, right? It
Mm,
fundamentally, are you a coon comes down to we are all as a part of the society performing, and fundamentally the question is who are you performing for?
yeah.
Um,
Well, if I'm being honest, my own definition of coon was more than just a performance, right? Like it's a mindset which influences said performance. So I never really thought about it as like just in a performance, like a means to an end, like for you to obtain something, whether it be power, money, access to a certain group of people or resources, but like more so like a mindset, like you actually thoroughly enjoy the performance itself. Like that's why you would be considered a quote unquote coon.
right. All right. So I want that to be in the back of our heads because if I remember at the end of the stream, I want to come back to the question because I think performances require an audience. And I think fundamentally, the audience you curate says something about who you are. And
Agreed.
yeah, okay, good. You're never going to get me to say something different. So, that being said, let's get into some stuff. Now, my queen, my queen, my queen, my queen. So, did you watch the Beyonce, not the Beyonce, the Jay-Z interview with GQ?
No, was not even aware of it.
Wait, really?
Honestly, I tend to just like, without even realizing it at times, just like completely disregard certain people. Jay-Z is one of those people.
Right, same. So I generally disregard whatever Jay-Z is doing as a
Right.
general matter, until he gets into the political realm or when he's talking. I think that so they interrupt me when I'm talking, right? Please interrupt me because I have like a long diatribe in my mind that I need to get out because it's going to destroy me at some point if I don't get it out. I think Beyonce sanitized Jay-Z's image in a lot of way. And I do think for like the earlier part of their relationship, Jay-Z was like the bigger star, depending on how you define bigger. And Beyonce gave Jay-Z a kind of credibility though, that a lot of rappers can never obtain by themselves, right? On one hand, he could like pander to the black community, like he has a black wife, but she's close enough to white to be allowed in the mainstream at a time when the racial ambiguous girlies were rushing for pop stardom. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so Beyonce and Jay Z behind the scenes and in his power in the industry, um, Beyonce with his her ability to sanitize his image and make him into this family man that we now know, quote unquote, they legitimized each other in very specific way.
Mm-hmm.
I also think because we just read Brandy's book, to ignore the age difference between Jay-Z and Beyonce when they met. They said they didn't start dating, but when they met is absolutely insane. But we'll get back to that at some other time, and we'll definitely talk about Brandy later tonight. So that's my first sort of rough draft of analysis for the couple right here. And I'm going to talk about Beyonce in a minute in a way that might not be fun and might not be good and might not be comfortable as a fan. But so that's the first part that I wanted to like put on the table, I think. Um, do you is there any engagement with that you do you want to engage with? Is there any engagement with that from your perspective that you want to like beef up or address? And if not, we can go on until you want to come in. But I
No, no,
just
no. There's something that I had to say. Oh, I hear. Oh no, we're good. There's something that I had to say. I'm wondering if I should say it, but I will. I agree that Beyonce sanitized his image, and that explains why he stopped caring about his appearance like decades ago.
Fear.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's really all I have to add.
So Beyonce's Lemonade and subsequent Black is King album marked, for me, a new kind of reclamation of blackness. She would no longer be quote unquote palatable, or so we thought, right? The thing is, watching Jay-Z interview with GQ brings up a lot of negative feelings for me. I think it was an impactful interview, but it's impactful in a way that I don't think Jay-Z wanted it to be. Because now I'm looking at them in a very different way. And I don't know why it took this interview for me to analyze. I think because I didn't understand how Jay-Z saw himself. Now
Mhm.
that I feel like I have a glimpse into how Jay-Z see himself, this is a problem. Beyonce and Jay-Z as a product is something that I don't want to buy any. If you know me, if you know me, you know I'm a high ranking Beehive member, and I'm still going to be a supporter of Beyonce. Thankfully, I was never a supporter of Jay-Z, right?
Mhm.
But the way that the lens through which I see Beyonce has shifted because of this interview, right? Beyonce took a hit, right? We all know that Beyonce, in creating one of the best album in the world, Lemonade, she took a hit to her popularity when she did Formation. That Formation video was a political position, right? And then she
Mhm.
performed it at the Super Bowl. SNL even did a skit, right? The day Beyonce turned black, right? This was
That sounds
on the
familiar.
yeah, on the heels of the Lemonade album. The SNL created a skit talking about the day Beyonce became black, and this was Beyonce in a league with Kendrick Lamar, right? And Beyonce's sister Solange had just put out a very black body of work. A Seat at the Table, I think it was one of the
Yeah.
greatest albums too, also. And Beyonce now had artistic integrity in a way that she hadn't before. There was a kind of legitimacy, like she got a hit in her popularity, but she became a cultural juggernaut after the Black is King era, after the Lemonade era, because it cemented her as someone who is willing to be countercultural. Like Kendrick Lamar, like her sister, like they are big, massive performers and entertainers, but they had this very I am here with my own voice that will not be diminished that I like, right? Art was polarizing and art can and should be polarizing. Again, it gave Beyonce this kind of artistic legitimacy that pop stars generally do not have. The problem is when you think about Jay-Z and what was happening at the time, it is actually really strange to like actually dissect it. Performing Formation at the Super Bowl and engaging with Black Power iconography at the same time, while Jay-Z is saying that kneeling is over and we've moved past kneeling, as he became like the halftime czar. He became the halftime show czar for the Super Bowl. For me, it took the wind out of our sail in terms of boycotting the NFL.
Mhm.
To be fair, I couldn't boycott no NFL because I wasn't watching it in the first place. But
Right.
no, but he became the czar of the halftime shows and told us that we are past kneeling. And Beyonce goes and does Lemonade at the Coldplay halftime show with all the black afro and the fist in the ear and the power. And it almost gave us symbolic black power while diminishing the real work of boycotting the
Yeah.
NFL. You see, so this feels like a scheme that Todd set up to come to us with the foolishness. Like now looking back at Beyonce's performance, it feels like a performance that was to help make us believe in the activism happening while also diminishing the activism that was supposed to be taking place. And the
Mhm.
question I have here is, what leverage did Jay-Z have to negotiate and win in becoming the curator of the halftime show, right? What was Jay-Z promising? We weren't in the room, but his statements against Kaepernick after supporting Kaepernick says something about his willingness to sell the black community out, does it not? Do you do you get what I'm picking up? Because this
I
email
do.
from the Epstein files is also a problem. This email right here from the Epstein files is a problem.
It's all about hip blacks and hip cards with white women.
No,
The
so
group that should be in the streets has been bought off by Jay-Z.
this is the CEO of Barclays. Jeff Stanley was the CEO of Barclays emailing Epstein, and he says, "You want to know why we are not San Paulo with the TV ads on the Super Bowl? It's all about hip hop. It's all about hip blacks in hip cars with white women. The
Hmm.
group that should be in the streets has been bought off by Jay-Z." Now, now, again, I wasn't planning to drag a Jay-Z. I was not planning to drag Jay-Z. I was not planning to talk about Jay-Z. Jay-Z decided to go and do an interview to talk about him being a billionaire, right?
Mhm.
And how he don't care nothing about the common folks. So that requires, in my mind, a kind of engagement with his work. And was the question when I read this email, I'm bringing this all together. When I read this in the Epstein files, one of the first question I had was the '90s rap star like was this like a white supremacist project? Like, were the '90s rappers and were the other rappers today like a white supremacist project? Because if you read this email and really think about it, like, if you don't just think about Jay-Z, but also think about Jay-Z. They said white women, these hitmen
Mhm.
in cars with white women in this way are seen as a tool of pacification with or without their consent. Like, I don't know if white women are a part of this. Like, oh, let's throw them some white women here and some white women there, and they will be pacified. Why
Mhm.
can white women be a pacifier for black manhood? Black men either love them or being taught to love them, right? This is a glimpse into how the how the elites see black people.
I mean, you said a lot,
Yeah,
but
sorry.
no, one thing that I did want to say, um, what the last thing that you said about how the question of whether black men are being taught to love white women or they just do, I can't help but feel like it's the latter because this same system again that men are subject to, the women are subject to as well. And so if it were the case that black men are being taught to love white women, would it not be the case that black women are taught to love white men? And that's
No,
not happening.
no, it's not. And I've thought about this long and hard.
Okay.
Women in patriarchy aren't seen as fully human and agentic. They are seen as things to trade and pass on or control and own, right? And so it is not about the function of the woman insofar as how she reclaims power over herself, but rather about how access to what access and to what kind of woman does a man have, right?
Mhm.
And so the diminished value of womanhood in a patriarchy does not, I think there are people who do not see selling women power as useful, right? But men in a patriarchy, and I think black women have bypassed this archetype around patriarchy, and I think this is why there is this kind of conflict about black women trying to be patriarchal while also not having patriarchs, right? So
Mhm.
there's a question of that. But I think there is, from the elite's mind, not a focus on women at all.
Mm. Okay, I could agree with that. I could agree with that. And I'm also like perusing the comments as well. And I think I am. I don't want to. I don't want to harp too much on this point because it is a side point. So I'll just kind of. I just kind of leave it there. I do believe that it is more so just adding on to like what you said, right? Because I do agree that women are disregarded in the grand
Yeah.
scheme, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to power, when it comes to how patriarchy operates, I agree with that. And in fact, I think it's that disregarding of women that contributes to the problem because essentially all the men are going to be, if they're thinking about women at all, they're going to be going for what they consider like top of the food chain, top of the pyramid, whatever you want to call it. And that due to us living in a white supremacist system, that is white women. And
Right.
so I could agree with it. I could agree there. It's not as much. Well, it is a conscious effort. I won't leave that. Like I won't.
By the way,
I'm gonna stay there. Yeah.
your inquiry is not wrong or
Mhm.
misappro. I think it is a good instinct and it is right because in a system where white men are at the top of the food chain, right? The
Mhm.
natural inclination, if women are looking to be hypergamous, would be white men,
White
right?
men. Yeah.
So there is a separate question about Black women's aversion to dating white men. That there is a separate question, and why the indoctrination didn't take for Black women, but that is
Mhm.
a separate type of indoctrination about attraction and mating strategy or whatever. I'm talking now about power. So
Mhm.
um, in an attempt to make Black men docile or to exploit Black men being docile, white women are being used through hip hop to get Black men to be docile, at least as this email is concerned.
Yeah.
Sorry, sneeze.
Like they're
But
used to satiate Black men.
yeah, I feel like I want to sneeze. Um, I hate wait.
Oh, there it is. Bless you.
Thank you. I hate when that happens. This, by the way, is not saying it's sure or not. I'm just addressing the email. But I do think your question is not a bad one. It's one that I've asked. But in asking it, I'm talking about like dating and power and the question of hypergamy.
Mhm.
But
I think I'm just confused about the Sao Paulo part.
oh, there every 2 weeks there's a fight. There's a not a fight, sorry, like a protest of sort, a violent protest.
Oh.
And so what the email is saying is that Black people should be in the street fighting because of how they are treated, but they are not because we hip hop stars are controlling them and we control the hip hop stars. Black
Mm.
men see hip hop stars with white women in fancy cars and they're not out there fighting and protesting. That's how I
Okay, got
interpret
it.
this email.
That was much needed context because I feel like this is the type of message that can go in more ways than one.
So Paulo. Yeah.
I didn't pick up on that for the group that should be in the streets has been bought off. Yeah, he's saying that we're being distracted. We're they're successfully distracting us
Right.
from like what we
Ignore
should be focused on. Yeah.
right. Ignore the word blacks for a second, because if you stay there, you're just going to disregard the whole email, because this is straight up racism in my mind.
Mhm.
The group that should be in the street,
Mhm.
SHOULD,
Yep.
should be here means something. Black people have been harmed. This is an acknowledgement of harm. At least at the highest level, there is an awareness of harm, right? The speaker here is fully aware of what should happen, how justice should look, right? They must be surprised at the peaceful nature of Black people externally, right? We can peaceful or docile, right? to be bought off by Jay-Z implies a knowing on Jay-Z's part, right? Is
Mm-hmm.
Jay-Z a puppet or an active participant in the neutering of Black folks? And when I say Jay-Z, I'm not talking about the individual, I'm talking about the business entity that is Jay-Z, and broader than that, the hip hop industry. Because this, like the way that we brush over this email, I feel undermine the significance of how the elite see what is happening. At least at the top, the elites are looking at Black people and saying, oh, these people should be out in the street, like literally burning things down and fighting, and they are not. And they're trying to come up with a why. And one of their whys is that Jay-Z, the hip hop industry, through Jay-Z, has been bought off.
Yeah.
Again, this does not, for me, this does not say Jay-Z is guilty, because we don't know if he is actively participating or he's a puppet being controlled. What we do know is the elite see him and his kind, the people with him, as the reason why Black people aren't out there fighting for justice, equality, and that so forth.
Honestly, if I'm being honest, that last sentence gives me the impression that even the person who wrote this considers Jay-Z an active participant, not a puppet. Because in my mind, why would you put the responsibility on the person that you or the powers that be are controlling or compelling to do these things? It's
Right.
like to say that the group that should be in the streets has been bought off by Jay-Z. That to me puts him in the position of power and gives him the control, which could be a way for him, the person who wrote this email, if we're going to make Jay-Z sort of like the representative or the symbol of hip hop, right? This man could be the symbol of white supremacy. And
yeah.
so,
Oh yeah. Here, easily.
Yeah, it could very easily be a situation where, because I don't know, my mind is going in different directions, because in one regard I want to say, well, this is what they've been doing, like I'd say, like since slavery was abolished, right? Which is you bring up certain Black people, whether it be like with access, with resources, with potential, whatever, you give them the trappings of success, and that will be enough to satiate them and prevent them from causing their people to riot in the streets, right? But the question is, how much responsibility how much responsibility remains with that person who was brought up, given a piece of success, and is actually indeed satiated by that? Like, do we put them in the same exact boat as the people who gave them that leg up, or do we put them in a different category?
Right. I think that's the question we can like think about, metabolize, and come back to, because I don't know. Right.
Oh, no,
and while I will give the people who put them where they are at a more demonic level, right? You causing harm to your community is a special kind of evil, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but we move. So I wanted to set this up this way, and I appreciate how you are framing that question. Jay-Z's interview with GQ has me questioning everything about his position in culture in a way that now for me is concerning, right? I'm going to use the written version of the interview because I don't want a copyright strike, and the written version is better. If you watch the Jay-Z interview, go read the transcript, because in the GQ written version, there are follow-ups and there are internal edits, and Jay-Z goes home, thought about some of what he said, and would then send back notes that were included. I think it clarifies some things, and it provides a better visual for how the exchange is going on paper, because you can look at their faces and think you understand what is being said, but it was a bunch of nothing. Jay-Z sat up there and said a bunch of nothing, but it also highlights for me who Jay-Z is. Now I'm going to piss everyone off in my chat, and I'm going to start with things that I liked about this GQ interaction. The thing I like the most are the pictures that came out, and I am a sucker for aesthetic, just like an absolute like. So let me show you what I mean. Let's see. So I tell Jay-Z and the death of music media. We'll get to the person who interviewed him in a second, and the fact that this was just Jay-Z interviewing himself. We'll get to that in a minute. But all right. Y'all drag me in get some tomatoes. DJ, get your tomatoes ready. I'm gonna quickly go through some of these pictures. I absolutely adore pretty much every single one of these pictures. If I liked Jay-Z, I would frame two of these in my house. I would someone said the math looks better. So let me just say this. Art and what looks good is not necessarily an attractive face. And I think a lot of people get that confused, particularly when they see models. There's something striking about beauty doesn't mean attractive in the way that we see people and we like their face or symmetry or whatever. Beauty seems specific, controlled in my mind. There's architectonic beauty that we all look and see in our faces, but there's a kind of energy that comes from a picture, an interaction, a person, a movement that you can also be attracted to. So I'm not one to say, oh, you're attractive just because you're not attractive because you physically don't have the kinds of marking of whatever attractive is deemed in a culture. I try to go beyond that. Uniqueness is beautiful to me, but an expression of a value encompass like an ability to express an idea, even in self, I think is beautiful, right? Even if that thing is sadness, if you can do it well, if you can perform it well, I like it, right? No. I do not think Jay-Z is cute. Let's be very clear. Let's be very clear. But he's not supposed to be cute, right? No. He represents a different kind of masculinity. Mind you, this is full defense of the image. I do not like Jay-Z. I do not think Jay-Z is attractive, whatever. But these images are top tier. This is a beautiful image to me. Now, fight me in the chat. You can do what you want. I think this is a beautiful, stunning, amazing image. Him holding the flowers that you give to someone for doing well. I think aesthetically, this is beautiful. It is powerful. It is there. It has presence. I absolutely adore this picture. What I'm going to go through, let me run through what Jay-Z represents visually in all of these pictures. Black power, not Black Panther, but Black power in capitalism, right? Specifically wealth. And there is a regal aesthetic to him that he's trying to put forward in these imagery that you will see. There is something dangerous, almost spiritual about the imagery. There is something dark in the kind of spiritual way, but cool. There's going to be a red thing where it feels like he's in hell, but like he's dominating it, which is an insane way to express. He is a vision of like Black success and financial abundance, right? So those are the things that I see when I see these imagery. Y'all can disagree and drag me in the chat if you want. That's what I see. This is a beautiful picture. Now, I'm not saying his face is beautiful, so please don't drag me.
Oh my God.
You don't like them. I love
No, I do. I do. I have not disagreed with you. Yeah. Oh, yeah, cool. I haven't.
Even the parts of him that people think are ugly plays into the aesthetic of this picture. Like it's not, he's not trying to be pretty or beautiful. He is present. Like exactly. He's here. I would literally hang this up somewhere. I won't because it's Jay-Z.
No, I get it. Yeah.
Like this one here where he's sitting down, eats down to me. This is it.
Just anybody else. Give me anybody else. Love it. Put it on my wall.
Like this I would hang. I would literally hang this up. I would literally.
See, I would AI myself into this photo and hang that up.
I would do this post. I would literally do this. Like this is like the energy from this. I would not have wrinkled my forehead. It would not. That would not go happen. But this for me feels like someone who is self-possessed, and you know he fully controlled all of this.
Hmm.
This is an ugly picture, but it's meant to be. There's something
Right.
scary and disconcerting about this picture. I would have it somewhere in my living room, not my bedroom, because I don't want
I
these
don't
kinds
know.
of problems.
It's giving homage to the electric chair, that last one.
Let me go back. This picture is one of the best Jay-Z pictures to ever come out.
Yes, agreed.
This is one of the best pictures of Jay-Z I've ever seen. It's not because he's a
Oh gosh, come on. Y'all gotta look with your third eye.
Y'all not getting me. Y'all not getting me. And I don't like that y'all not seeing the vision. This feels more esoteric and spiritual than I'm used to from Jay-Z. Or maybe I don't pay attention enough to Jay-Z, but this feels like almost demonic, but artistically so.
I'm not sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, please interrupt.
No, I was just gonna say I'm not getting demonic.
Oh no, yeah, I get fully demonic from here. I have full blown demon.
Perhaps I'm desensitized. I'm a demonic possession movie lover, so this is a child's play to me.
Right. Anywho, we're gonna get to Blue Ivy Carter now quickly because Jay-Z, another thing about Jay-Z, the interview that I like is his engagement with his daughter, him bringing up his daughter, him talking about his daughter. I'm not can you see this to read it, by the way?
Yeah.
So obviously the highlighted is the interviewer, and that's his question. Can you?
Yeah, sure. So the interviewer asked, "What did you do to come back from that emotionally?" I'm still dealing with that because that's a horrible thing to put on someone. It was like released the night of my daughter's movie premiere. The interviewer asks, "You joined her on the red carpet that night. Were you considering staying home, or was that not even a question?" He says, "Of course that's a question because this is her moment. But our family, we are a tight unit. Blue has this jersey with Jay-Z on the back. She put it on one day. She went to school with the J, points to his back. I was just in the corner, like tears coming down. Seriously, to have that, it's priceless. People can say that they'll always be there for you, but it's very rare that you're going to have to exercise it. And in the darkest moment for me, I got to see those sorts of things."
Okay. The first question was about dealing with the assault allegations, right?
Oh, that. Okay.
Yes. No, that's why I cut it off, because I didn't want to put what it was. And Jay-Z framed this interview because I'm going to explain the interview largely what I think, but he then goes straight into how this is affecting him and his daughter. Smart move, because this is pulling on heartstrings. And I think this is one of the best part of the interview, because when he talks about his daughter, I believe him, right? How is fatherhood for you lately? With Blue getting older, the twins, how has that journey been evolving for you? You can read the response.
Mm-hmm. He says, "It gives everything meaning, everything. I'll go cross country, do what I have to do, and I'm back on the plane that night. I love taking them to school. I love picking them up. Everything means so much more." Ooh, okay.
I'm not going to read that.
Okay.
You can read it. You can see it. Yeah.
Interviewer asked, "What was it like watching Blue come into her own even more on the Cowboy Carter tour?" He says, "That was amazing. On the first tour, there was a lot of conversation around her first performance, and she worked really hard to get to that point, but she still wasn't going for it. She still was going through the motions, and then she just started fighting back. I saw her fight maybe for the first time in her life. Like, not everything is just given to her and everything is easy. She fought for it. She's almost on every number. I had to take her off some, like, man, you can't be on that stage when she's singing 6-inch heels. Are you crazy?" Blue is a crazy pianist, but she won't let us.
Blue is a crazy pianist. So two things. One, understand that this is in the wake of a sexual assault allegation that happened in 2025, right? So this teeing up of Blue for me is a weaponizing of her daughter. Before we move any further, that needs to be understood that this is a very weird way to engage his daughter first, period.
Mhm.
This, however, also highlights how he loves his daughter, and I have to highlight it. In fact, in a way that is like this is fatherhood, I guess. Blue Ivy on that tour with Beyonce was not that good the first time, and people
Mhm.
dragged her for filth. And she did, in fact, fight back and become a better dancer. And she
Mhm.
did what needed to be done for the rest of that show, right? I'm
Yes.
not sure if a young girl should have to go through all of that. I am glad Blue Ivy stood up and fight back, but we don't know how this is affecting a developing young girl's self-image. But I don't know how the parent don't have a child, so I don't know if you shoving your child in front of the millions of people to be judged is the right way to do it. And then to come out and use that as a way to defend yourself
Mhm.
against critiques that were coming your way, sexual assault allegations. I think that's an insane thing to do, but whatever. And then he goes on to talk about Blue Ivy being a pianist. And there's something very strange about the way he engages with his daughter. I don't want to get into this part. This is why I paused you, DJ, because I put it on here and I was going to talk about something, but as I realized it might not be the best thing to do. So I'm just going to skip over this part because he's like, Blue is just a genius. She can play the piano and she doesn't want to teach her because she just want to do it for fun. And I think there's some, let me leave that alone. Let me leave that
Mhm.
alone. All right. So let's get to the interview, the actual part of the interview, the mess that I hate. Here's the thing, Jay-Z could have sat up a camera and done a video essay. Better yet, actually, not a video essay. Jay-Z could have done a get ready with me because he sure as hell did not need the interviewer. That this man did not need to be there. Jay-Z could have got his best makeup bag, makeup kit, sat in front of a mirror with his Fenty foundation, put that in and just tell us what he wanted to tell us. This man, I am so sorry to this man, he did not have to be there. In truth, Jay-Z is Jay-Z. And there was no way the interviewer was going to be able to push back. There was no way the interview was going to happen if the interviewer was any kind of adversarial or even ask any meaningful question. It was never going to happen. This is probably the best we can get because Jay-Z would not have allowed any meaningful question.
Valid.
So while I want to drag the interviewer, I will not. So not to disrespect the viewer, the interviewer, I don't want to disrespect him. He would have no power to do any real interviewing when it comes to
Mhm.
Jay-Z. It's not a thing. But to open with the 2025 sexual assault allegation, I think that's a scheme Jay-Z set up to come to us with the foolishness. Like, be so serious. This weak interviewer who cannot ask anything meaningful is going to open up with the 2025 sexual assault. You think that? No, Jay-Z wrote them questions. Jay-Z did this. This is a scheme. Jay-Z came and this is not an interview.
His team held all the cards for sure.
Yeah, so I'm listening to this and I'm like, okay, cool. This is not an interview. What I'm watching this for, what I'm reading this for, is not insight based on questions. It is what the question is, how Jay-Z is responding, and what Jay-Z is saying. I don't care nothing about the interviewer, actually, at
So
all.
this, so this was a video in addition
Yeah.
to an article, I'm assuming.
Yes, it's the video, but then the article is transcribed, and we're going to the transcribed article. So I can't do
Okay.
the copyright. I'm not about
No, no,
to
no.
charge.
I only asked because, and a lot of people said it in the comments before I could even say it. Like, so who is this young man? Why?
He's over 30 something. I forgot his name. He's
Oh,
over 30. He's like in this game. He dresses and has an aura of a 19-year-old, but it's a grown man.
okay. But is he? prominent in his field, at least to a similar degree as Jay-Z is to Rock.
Absolutely not.
And that alone told me everything that I needed to know, because I feel like it would be a lot different if somebody who was much more established, not to say that this man isn't, I just don't know him, so I can't speak on that. But
Yeah,
to choose somebody like him to interview Jay-Z, like you already know who's in power here.
right. Not only that, fully agree, but Jay-Z is going to sun him throughout this entire interview. Like at one point, Jay-Z says something that Jay-Z alone, only Jay-Z believes is profound. And he's going to ask another question. And Jay-Z goes, "Oh, no, don't skip past that. Don't skip past what I said. Girl, if you don't get out of my face."
Okay, wait, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, he was like, "Girl, don't skip past that. It don't happen for you. It don't happen to you. It happens for Jay-Z. Girl, please get out of my face and let me do my job, and you do yours." But anyway, anyway, so this is how the interviewer starts off the interview. This right here. How would you rate your 2025 Jay-Z? 2025 is the allegations against him. I'm gonna tell you this, and I have no facts to back it up. My gut tells me that Jay-Z set up that whole scheme for that allegation against him. As soon as I read the complaint, I'm like, which attorney brought this case? Because what it does, it is deters potential victims from Jay-Z from coming forward. Because Jay-Z annihilated this woman who came forward and lied on him in a way that was obvious. Like you could check the date and time and location of people. And it was very clear that this lawsuit, I remember being in the Discord and I'm saying this, and people are like, "Team, if you have to believe women," I'm like, "Girl, you could literally look up New York and see if Jay-Z was at this award show, and the people she claimed were at the award show when she said they were at the award show. They were not. It was clear. They came out and said they weren't." That's a good way to say, girl, the facts on faxing. That's wild.
Especially because I don't remember the specifics, but I do recall her father being involved in some way, where I think she said that he picked her up from somewhere, and then when he was asked, he said he didn't recall. Okay, yeah, that's silly, because at the very least you would think that if she intended on getting some money or anything, or actually getting justice because this did indeed happen, wouldn't her family like be on one accord? Right. Like, you know what I mean? You wouldn't leave that much. You wouldn't leave that much undone.
That lawsuit is a scheme Jay-Z set up to always be able to go back to whenever he's called out for any kind of misconduct around women. That's
and right around the time of Diddy being held accountable, he knew he had to do something. He had to.
You was right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this silly. Do you want to read what Jay-Z said? It's a long diatribe. Oh, go ahead.
Jay-Z, it was hard, really hard. I was heartbroken. I'm glad we got right to that, so we could just get that out the way. Like I was really hard.
You were glad we got to where you're glad we got to.
The very first question.
How would you rate your 2025? I'm glad we got right there to that. Why are you glad we got to that, Jay-Z? You told him to ask. Why are you pretending this is not something that you get told? You literally gave him the question to ask you. This is the broadest, most indirect way to ask about a sexual assault allegation that I've ever seen in my life. This is literally the broadest, most like this. There's no facts here, nothing. Like we don't. 2025, girl, it was good. Next question.
Right. Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. Like I was really heartbroken by everything that occurred. We're in a space now where it's almost like consequence is not thought about enough because everything is so instant. You know what I'm saying? All right. Meanwhile, it took them so long to finally put Diddy away. But anyway, that whole lawsuit thing, that shit took a lot out of me. I was angry. I haven't been that angry in a long time. Uncontrollable anger. You don't put that on someone. That's the thing that you better be super sure. It used to be like that. You had to be super sure before you put those kind of things on a person, especially a person like me. even when we were doing the worst things, we had those kind of rules. There was a line, no women, no kids. You hear those sayings, but those are the things that I took from the street. We lived and died by that. So it's strict for me, like it meant a lot to me. I took that really hard. I knew that we were going to walk through that because, first of all, it's not true. And the truth at the end of the day still reigns supreme. Oh my God.
There's something that I
Whatever.
didn't notice on the first read. He said, even when we were doing random things in the street, harming people, please stick a pin in that.
Mhm.
Because later on in the interview, he's going to say that he's a billionaire, but he's never taken advantage of anyone. It is important because I just remember that he was a whole crack dealer.
Mhm.
So the fact that Dusty Disgusting Degenerate Man is going to sit up there and tell us, oh, by the way, I've never taken advantage of anyone to be a billionaire, so therefore I'm an ethical billionaire is insane. You are a whole crack dealer. You made a whole song about how you sold crack to your mom, but you never took advantage of anyone. Are you insane? We haven't gotten there, but I literally just remember that. So hopefully y'all in the chat will remember that when we get to that point. But there's a lot here. There's a lot going on here. I
Even
believe.
when no, I'm
Right.
sorry, I just want because no, it stuck out to me as well. That's why like I read it extra slowly. Even when we were doing the worst things, we had those kind of rules. So the worst things, he's acknowledging that he's done some horrible things. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But
Period. We
then at
love
a
when y'all
different
tell on
point in
yourself.
the interview, you go and say you never heard anyone, you never taken it. Girl, please, Jay-Z, get out of my face. You play entirely too much, and we're not here for these games, these reindeers game. So again, the sexual assault allegation for me was a means to rehabilitate his image. I think that Jay-Z was playing a really specific kind of game. Um, and I think it allowed him to isolate himself from any further scrutiny in this way. And he doubles down on his innocence whenever he can, using this without ever bringing up any of the details, right? He can use this as cover for a very, 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 very long time.
Mhm.
And that for me is a problem, not because he shouldn't say, you don't get to like lie about me. I'm okay with that. I'm for that. It is the way that no one brought this up and he sui sponte brought it up. Like, how was your 2025? Girl, why are you telling me about girl, get out of my face. Right. And then let me see if it's the next one. Sorry, I heard something outside.
Mhm.
Is there a thing? I'm gonna leave that alone. You would have this, yeah, because it's all win. I'm gonna move on from this because I don't like. I don't want to talk about this.
Mm.
All right, you ready?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Is that something you continue to apply when, God forbid, something goes wrong? Don't freak out. Jay-Z says, it's not even God forbid when something goes wrong. Everything in life happens for your greatest good. Everything. You won't always see it at the time, like how I didn't see it at the time that I didn't need a record deal. I was put here to be this independent person that will push a different pocket like Prince was. Prince was for music overall. I was for hip hop and our culture. I had to not get a deal in order to become who I am today. I had to not get a deal. But if you told me at that time, it didn't feel like the greatest blessing of all. It was the greatest blessing that I didn't get a deal. So again, everything in your life is not happening to you, it's happening for you. Hold on. Why does he keep saying didn't get a deal, didn't get a deal? He became a rapper
Yeah, but he was not doing well.
initially.
Yeah.
Does he discuss why he think it wasn't hitting? Like
Yeah,
what
no, no,
made him
no.
pop?
He's saying, but like he's stepping over that because this is a very pull yourself up by the bootstrap mentality, right? Where if
Mhm.
I can do it, so can you. That's the first thing. The second part of this is about sort of, nothing bad is really happening to you. It's actually benefiting you. So your mother having cancer has to benefit you by some universal power. Like he's talking in a way that is highlighting a kind of privilege of luck, right? Because he
Mhm.
goes through and talks about even some of his songs, like when he was in the street, people were getting locked up, and he generally got away with everything, right? He came out, his words, not mine, unscathed, right? And so there is this. No, no, no. I didn't say Gloria has cancer. I'm saying he's saying this about you. Like, if it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. Right here, he goes, so again, everything in your life, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you, period. The interviewer says, when you push, he interrupts the interviewer and goes, don't skip over that. It's not happening to you. It's that girl, Jay-Z, please get out of my face.
Yeah, please, 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 with your pseudo philosophies. Like I
Like,
couldn't care less. Especially because like this is even more irritating to me coming from somebody who so fully embraced capitalism. Like, is this not the type of thing that y'all push, whether it be to the poor or if you're religious, what you push to other people? Like, struggle is just so inherent in life, and we are to take it with stride versus asking the question of why we're facing the struggle in the first place, and if somebody else is causing said struggle. Like, I don't trust you. You are somebody who has fully embraced capitalism, advocates for it, loves all the things about it. You are not going to be the person that I take any philosophical insight from. Point blank
yeah,
period.
but there's not only this, hey Kilo, by the way, there's not only this philosophical
Oh,
issue.
hi.
There's there's not only this like issue with his philosophy, which is a problem. There is a deep, deep problem around just blaming people for what they've done and how they've done it. And this, like, we're in a meritocratic system and you failed because you just don't know how to do it, ignores the larger system at play. That, like, I don't understand how detached you must be from the struggles of people all around the world to say something like this. Like, and it feels very esoteric. And he goes, "There's no good or evil. I think there's nothing is good or evil," which
Hmm.
comes really in alignment with the Aleister Crowley "do as thou will" kind of Satanism. And I've never thought of Jay Z as specifically esoteric or spiritual. I thought they're like online videos about him in the Illuminati or whatever. Like, I watched them for fun, but I didn't really care. But the more he talks and his personal ethos, one, they're very conservative, not in itself a problem, but it's the blaming people for their position, and there is an unwillingness to question the system. He's going to talk about how he's a realist in a minute and he's not thinking about the world as it should be, but how it is. And there is a willingness to accept society the way that it is because he's privileged in it and he's not going to fight against a system. He's going to play in the system. He's not about
Mhm.
to push back. And so when he says this, and we're going to go through it, when he says this and then pretends to be countercultural, girl, you are not. You use the Black Power iconography, and you shouldn't, because you are in the system. You're part of the system. You agree with the system. You're telling people to operate within the system. You're not pushing back against it. So why are you quoting Malcolm X and using the Black Panther iconography? Like, why are you doing this? Because it's not you. You don't believe any of this. You believe that you are realist. You believe that you made it off your own work and not exploitation. You believe that the people who are hardworking and do what needs to be done rise to the top, and the people at the bottom deserve to be at the bottom. That is
Mhm.
your worldview. When you say everything in your life is not happening to you, it is happening for you, you're a dusty degenerate, and I need you to get out of my face.
I
Sorry, go ahead.
can't.
Kilo. Oh, go ahead,
Oh,
DJ. Sorry.
no, I
Well,
was just.
I mean, let me introduce myself, I guess. Hi, everyone. Hey, chat.
By the
I'm
way,
just
sorry,
popping in
Kilo,
to say hi.
it was like, I feel like we were in a flow state. My bad. So I wanted to
Yeah.
get it out before I
Uh-huh.
forgot it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, no,
Mm-hmm.
that's fine.
Mm-hmm. Hey everybody. Hi DJ. How are you guys? How's
Hello.
everyone doing? I hope you guys are doing great, doing fine. I'll probably pop out at randomly because you know what's going on. Um, so I'll just pop in when I can. I think what I heard, I guess that stood out to me. I really hate these stories of him talking about his children. And because to me it feels like when it's like, oh yeah, I love my kids, I love this, I love that. they love to etch out a special place for their people and their children while completely taking advantage of and disregarding the lives of everybody else.
Yeah.
So like to me, I just can't put any stock into it when you're talking about how much you love your child and you love this and she's everything. And you don't care about anyone else outside of that. And so it's really hard for me to respect you or respect any of this. Like your story, you as a father, like I can't respect any of it. And then for you to turn around and on this other side say, I've done horrible things, but I have XYZ rules. You just better hope, me, you, DJ, all the people out here, we all should just hope that whatever rules he's playing by now, somehow we don't get harmed by it, right? Because he's telling you, I am a horrible person. I just have certain rules that I
Yeah.
follow. And so you just better hope that all of us don't get harmed when he's doing whatever it is he's doing, and you better hope that somehow we fall on the right side of his rules.
Yeah, but like there is a question obviously here. There is no street code. There is no street code that says these gangsters aren't murking, unaliving each other, children.
We know it's
women,
not
every-
true. Statistically, we know that's not true.
Yeah, but there is an over. Well, let's go back.
It's just funny to me that he thinks that if he says, oh, I'm actually not as bad because, yeah, I've done bad things, but I won't harm women and children. Like he somehow thinks that like that elevates him to a certain level. He's better than certain individuals.
It's not just that. It's a lie.
No, I know it's a lie, but he thinks like that's what he's saying, right? He wants you to believe that because I've heard older men, black men, also say that. Like they think that that's something that means something.
Again, didn't Jay-Z sell crack to his mom? That's a woman. Right. Did he sell crack to other people, other women? So is there?
There's no street code.
Isn't there a son he's disowning? How old was Beyonce when they met? Right, like. The girl, ain't nobody trying to hear nothing about a street code because nobody care nothing about a street code. They're lying.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. Even when they talk about young men of today, they'll say, "Oh, we didn't used to do that," or "Oh, things were different." And they like to characterize today's men as worse than
the streets do not care about women and children. That much is evident.
Never did. It just annoys me that they try to position themselves into like, I'm a degenerate, but I'm a better degenerate than those people. It's like, we can see you.
But yeah, they're all fighting to not be the worst among the worst of the bunch. Yeah.
But like, there is a separate thing here, right? There, in the way that this is, if you listen to it, you don't get, and I almost forgot this. I should write notes more often instead of bullet points. But the way that this is written highlights how problematic it actually is. This is a one-line question. And this is one paragraph. This is like 3 whole paragraphs, right? Of Jay-Z over-explaining. There is a problem when you ask a simple question, and instead of saying, oh, it was good or bad, that thing about assault that I didn't like. But when you attempt to bring in street code as an argument as to why you won't hurt women and children while admitting to selling crack to your own mother is a special kind of diabolical, egotistical, and dusty. It is a special kind to build up this narrative about self using this many words to explain that the street code prevents you from harming women while you sold crack to your mother on the street is insane, and you are diabolical, disgusting, degenerate. I had forgotten how many words he used to say this.
But also, worse than what?
No, well, it's not comparative, right? Like, obviously, there are people he's comparing himself, but I think your analysis is accurate, and you can do yours. I'll do mine separately because mine is not comparative. Mine is taking Jay-Z as his own words, what he said. This is a problem. What's wrong with I didn't do it, and I'm glad I was able to show the world that I was innocent. All this moral grandstanding just to highlight your willingness to lie is insane.
But not just that, like was that really all that happened in 2025 for you?
Right.
At your level, with your status, with your family. So He just asked, how would you rate your 2025? And all you went on about was that one specific incident. I get
Right.
it. That's very significant, right? But I just can't help but feel like that's just more proof of what you're saying, which was you told him to ask this question and he didn't even have to be specific enough in order for you to go straight into the assault case. And
Right,
like
because
that
it's a campaign. This whole interview. I just imagine it was a campaign. You ask me certain questions, I will say my script and paint myself the way I want to be painted. I just think within the words, these are the words that he thought he was gonna say that somehow makes him into a good person. That's why I'm like, being a stickler for like the exact words he's using, because this is what he chose to put out that he thought. Like, this is all planned in my mind. You can't nobody tell me otherwise. And
Well,
this
yeah.
is what he thought.
Jay-Z's not about to do an interview without like
Right,
screening
right,
everything.
right. And this is the words he chose to like explain himself and show you what kind of man he was. And you say, even when we're doing the worst things, we had those kind of rules. That makes me laugh because worst things, selling crack to his mom might not even be his worst thing he did. We don't even know, right? But it makes me laugh because it's also no women and no kids. So the boys and the men, a chop.
Yep, exactly. What were you doing to boys and men? Why
That's
just
fine.
women and kids were
Not up boys and men.
Right, you know what I mean? Like, this is what he chose to tell us willingly.
Right. So there is no possible way this is an organic opening.
No.
Jay-Z is interviewing himself and this man just there as a sounding board again.
Yeah.
The powerlessness of the interviewer is actually insane to me. And this is the fact that Jay-Z knew what to go to and there's no interrogation of any of this by the interviewer is insane. The barely like for me, this is not an interview and it barely qualifies as a conversation. Like,
No, it's a speech broken up by little subsections.
Yeah.
It's just a speech at this point. He's just talking to us, Like you said, a get ready with me probably would have been more, that it probably would have made more sense.
Right. Before we play this is before we listen to this, I want us to go back to when Jay-Z was on Twitter, because he said this before. He said this very thing before. Let me play it for y'all.
Yes. Yeah, and we're not gonna stop. The hip hop is young. We still growing, and we're not falling for that technology, whatever this public puts out there now. That before was the American dream. Pull yourself out of bootstraps, and you can make it in America. All these lies that America told us our whole life.
Notice that is a slip. These lies that America told us our entire time, which is the American dream, he calls that a lie. That is a slip up. He didn't actually mean to call it a lie. He gonna go and explain why it's not a lie. He messed up. That's just a slip.
And then when we start getting it, they try to lock us out of it. They start inventing words like
When we started getting it, the lie. When we started getting the lie.
When we started getting it.
Right. And who is we?
Keep saying
I was just
we.
about to say. Also, I'm about to say, who is we? Thing was, when what's that phrase where he keeps saying it's not it didn't happen to you, it happened for you. Doesn't that give the moment it hits my tongue, I taste it?
It does give, like, his is very law of attraction. Obviously, you obviously it's two different schema they're setting up. He is doing very law of attraction, like nothing bad is happening to you. Wait, what did they say? It can only good happen. Who said that? Oh, it was Trump. It was Trump. Nothing bad is happening. It can only good happen.
Words. It just feels like
words. It is only words.
It's just like, that's why I drew the parallel, because it's just like you're just saying stuff. Like, it's just you're just talking, and then you stop the interview to like have him like so you can repeat it again as if you said some like groundbreaking.
Yeah, if he had said it and moved on, it wouldn't have been a problem. It is the doubling down and stopping it as if you need to marinate in my profound.
Like you didn't eat. I assure you did not eat. So sorry.
He
It
said
was not that
stop.
profound.
He said,
But
wait, you got to really let this sit.
but this is important for his ideology around capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we start getting it, they try to lock us out of it. They start inventing words like, capitalist and, things like that. I mean, we've been called nigger and monkeys and shit. I don't care. Those words y'all come up with, y'all got to come up with stronger words. When I say y'all, I'm not talking about you. The words they come up with, they got to come up with stronger words. We're not going to stop. We're not going to be tricked out of our position. Y'all locked us out. Y'all created a system that, doesn't include us. We said, fine. We went our alternate route. We created this music. We did.
Therein lies a problem. You did not create an alternative means for engaging in capitalism.
Right.
You followed the blueprint, like your album, and you became a capitalist in the most overt, direct sense of the word, right?
Mhm.
And instead of trying to pretend like you were counterculture in any meaningful way, just accept who you are and stop saying we because we broke. Girl, we are
Right.
broke.
Right. Who is we? But also, he says we pursued an alternative route, this music. And we all know now, after everything that's come out, that the black people didn't own any music. They didn't
Mhm.
build any music. And when they were building and accepting black artists, they were exploiting them. So I don't even know if that's like an example that's useful.
Research shows that billionaires are knocks. It breaks down how the brain of people with that much money literally changes to look like what? To look like that of
Serial
wait, what?
killer.
Oh,
Serial
serial
killer.
Mhm.
killer. Got it.
Hmm. Y'all know better than that. The famous hoe, y'all know better than that.
No, that's not.
They know
Feminist.
better.
No.
It's that's what it is.
The feminist. Oh, hey.
That's the feminist hoe. You didn't know that?
Oh, I thought you said the famous. Let me
Oh
play
no,
this.
no, no.
Did our thing. We hustled. We fucking killed ourselves to get to this space. And, now it's like, eat the rich and man, we're not stopping. So that evolution is, from us, we came from selling 7 records and selling records out our trunk and, no radio play. And I think Reasonable Doubt did 36,000 the first week or something like that. I may be adding a little to it, so I come from Marcy Projects. In my first house, 615 Lexington Avenue, my grandmother's house, 7 families lived. Like, she has 7 kids. My mother and my parents and siblings lived in that house. My aunt Nisi lived in that house. Hootie lived in that house. Butchie lived in the basement.
No one know who them people is. He's just saying names at this point. That
Yeah,
he
I will say he's restoring my faith in myself. I too can become a useless billionaire, and I don't have to be that smart or articulate. Like, I love that. Actually, that made me feel good.
And I want to reiterate, like, black people definitely built music. They built a culture. My problem is that they didn't own it. And he's
Right.
talking about wealth building. White people wouldn't let us wealth build. So we did something else. And it's like, what is the something else? You're the only person who seems to be wealth building. What is the something else? It sounds like you signed up for their capitalism and you went over there with them. I mean,
Right. And why was that your like default, right? Like, why wouldn't you want something of your own to begin with? Why was the first intention to, profit with them and getting good with them? And only once you came to the realization that that may not happen due to racism, then you chose to go your own way. Why didn't you go your own way to begin with? If you're so pro-black.
right.
Yeah.
Wait,
I went back to that house. I did an interview with Oprah, and I couldn't believe how small this house was. That all of us lived in that house. So again, that evolution that you speak of, it's just real, and it's happening in real time, and I'm talking about it. And we're not going to stop, and we're not going to stop talking about it. You're not going to trick us out of and make us feel ashamed to be successful in a place that set up a system for us to be dead at 21.
all right.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a couple of things here. If I am giving him grace, it is this. it must be frustrating to be told the American dream. And now that you have attained beyond the American dream, you're hearing eat the rich, right? As the cultural climate shifts, class consciousness shifts, and people become more aware of our own exploitation in a system that exploits people for a very small group of other people who own all the capital, right? Agreed. Fine. The issue, and also, I think it is right, and I will give him credit for this. It is right to highlight that a lot of the people making video essays on Jay-Z they've not made the same video essay on the owner of Amazon, right? On the owner of Tesla, right?
Mhm.
And I think some people are, but the people who are talking about Jay-Z being capitalist are not also talking about the white capitalists. And there is something deeply concerning from Jay-Z's perspective about this that I think is true. Because I do think in terms of billionaire and their impact generally on people, we might need to start at the top end and work our way down, right?
Mhm.
But it's not like we can walk and chew gum at the same time. We can drag all of them all at once. But there is a cultural prominence that Jay-Z has that opens him up to critique in a way that silent wealth is not critiqued.
Right.
And if you're going to occupy space in the media apparatus in this way, you also have to recognize that you become the whipping board because you are representation of billionaires now. Like, you are not just the representation of rap. Like, people use Jay-Z as a shorthand for rap. They will use you in the same way as a shorthand for billionaires because you are a prominent billionaire that people can reference. And
Mhm.
so I can understand a kind of discomfort that comes from being singled out when you see your other billionaire peers not getting the same kind of scrutiny. Okay, my forgiveness, my grace ends there. It is insane to me that Jay-Z, a billionaire, has not learned how to articulate his position. One, two, has not done the kind of research necessary to engage with a critique of billionaires generally. And three, to be as inarticulate as he is while being one of the greatest rapper in the world is an absolute crime against humanity. And I never thought I would see the day. I did not realize Jay-Z spoke that way. I did not know that because I know that Jay-Z is one of the greatest lyricists we've ever seen. So it is very strange to me how he babbles on in a very incoherent fashion that, like, I know Jay-Z's position, but it's not because he's articulating his position well. Jay-Z don't hear nothing about what we gotta say. He's a billionaire and y'all gonna have to stick by that.
Yeah. I wonder. No, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna go to the written interview, which we'll talk about, but I want you to go first.
I agree. I realize he spoke like this, but he always said like when he would do these interviews, like he did one on like that show with Charlemagne, and I realized he just didn't speak that much, period. So you couldn't really pick up on what he was really saying or if he could articulate himself because he just wouldn't talk that much. But now that you hear him like talking and talking and talking, you can kind of pick up on it a lot more. It almost makes me feel like, I guess I would love to hear how he speaks in other settings when a certain type of person or demographic is around, because I just find it so hard to believe you could sound this inarticulate in the position. You know what I mean? Like, this is very
Well, no, I mean, I've seen Trump, so
listen, at that point.
Yeah, I've seen Trump.
But as a black man, I'm surprised he got where he was being like that, you know?
Well, I think there are two things. As someone who, I think I'm a gifted speaker, I do. I don't think you need to speak well to be smart. I think Jay-Z is actually smart. And I disagree. I watched someone say, I can't believe Jay-Z is this dumb. No. You're conflating.
No, he's not dumb.
You're conflating the ability to articulate yourself in a way that people understand it. Like, to mean someone is smart or dumb, and those are two very different things.
Correct.
Jay-Z is smart. I
Yep.
believe Jay-Z is smart. I think Jay-Z is vicious, and Dame Dash will let you know that Jay-Z is a shark.
He has not taken his foot off his neck. He will remind you every time a mic is in front of him that he's a shark. I also have another question. What do you think what do you think happens to the psychology of a black man when he decides to step into the arena with other white men of this caliber mentally?
No, so I don't know. I don't know how to answer the question you're asking. I don't think this is a good answer. I think Jay-Z, so while I think Jay-Z bends to the system, I think it is a system level problem. I don't think he is deferential based on race. I will talk. I can talk more about this later, but I don't think he bends based on race. I think the thing that talks for Jay-Z more than anything is money. So I don't think he's a black man that cowers in the face of whiteness. I think
I don't think he cowers. I think I'm more leaning of how you have to be as a black man to survive in a landscape with white people. Because whether you acknowledge race or not, I would imagine the treatment would be obvious and also like not so obvious. So I'm just wondering what has to happen to you as a black man in a room full of men who don't believe you should exist as a person.
But you see, that's what I was kind of thinking about as well. I know this is mainly about Jay-Z, but I can't help but feel like something very similar is true for Beyonce, where I feel like they're at this they've both reached a very specific point where it's almost like they're occupying two worlds at once. They're occupying a predominantly white world, the predominantly white world that is capitalism, that is uber wealth, that is all of those things, but then also having to remain, perhaps not even having to, but feeling compelled to remain connected to their blackness or the black community. And that would explain why they pander occasionally, right?
Yeah.
And it would also explain like the inconsistencies we're picking up on. Like they're I'm going to say that they're actually they are successfully occupying both worlds at once.
And Jay-Z aesthetic is one that is an attempt at owning himself and not having to assimilate into a billionaire class, or he's performing for black people, Basquiat kind of approach. I am not sure. But Jay-Z has never given me, and I'm willing to be wrong here, he's never given me that he cowers in the face of anyone. I think he is always planning and trying to figure out how to take over a room. But wait, let's get to this question. This question and answer.
All right. On Universal Soldier, you say, you ain't keep the same energy for the DuPonts and Carnegies. You're engaging with the pushback that you get sometimes. People throw capitalists at you in a derogatory sense. Pause, by the way. I hate it when black men do that. Why do y'all keep bringing up white people when we're trying to hold you accountable? But anyway, the only thing I heard...
Pause. Yes, and I think it is the framing of this question allows Jay-Z to get the room to disagree without having to make the disagreement himself. Now, Jay-Z's gonna do it, but this framing of a question is a degenerate fanboy loser behavior kind of question. And there is absolutely no way that a reporter, a journalist, an interviewer should be engaging with his subject this way.
There's not even a question.
Right.
There's no question here. Like, it's just like you just made a statement like, oh, you said this in one of your songs. Okay.
We're engaging with the pushback that you get sometimes. People throw capitalists at you in a derogatory sense. Jay-Z should have just stopped talking because, like, what is this a question?
And like, okay, is he not a capitalist?
Right. Now he's saying capitalism is being used in the derogatory sense. Okay, now listen to what Jay-Z is about to say.
The only thing I heard coming up was the American dream. You could make it if you pull yourself up by the bootstraps. I heard that my entire life until we started being successful. Then it was like, you're selling out because you're making money. People had this allure for the struggling artist. That's a mind game, what we would call back in the day tricknology. Oh my God. I'm not going for that. I make art first and then I make sure that I'm compensated for my art. I didn't get here by taking advantage of people or taking advantage of the loopholes in the system or some wrinkle in a capitalist structure. That structure exists. I just see the world for what it is, not for what I want it to be. I'm a realist. It's not idealistic. People speak about the world how they want to see it. You're never going to win like that. So many issues with this.
So MLK, Martin Luther King, all of them people should have been like, I'm just seeing the world how it is, and I'm gonna just live in the world how it is. I'm not gonna idealize anything. I'm gonna just sit here in this world how it is. I'm not gonna be transformative in my approach to advocacy.
Like you say,
no, sorry. It is absolutely diabolical to use I'm a realist when you are being critiqued as a capitalist. This is not an engagement with the inquiry. This is not an engagement with the critique. This is a straw man. Rather, actually, this is a red herring. This does not address the critique of capitalism. And the dusty interviewer made it so that Jay-Z did not have to interrogate anything about himself or actually the critiques that are being launched his way. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, for starters, even though he is strawmanning the argument, he's in his mind, he's answering the question, which I feel like is very telling. So he's essentially telling us, well, we're operating in the capitalistic structure. I'm a realist. I see the structure for what it is. I see the system for what it is. And so I'm going to do what I have to do at the end of the day. And I find it so interesting that he says that he never took any advantage of loopholes or some wrinkle in the capitalist structure. But if I were to speak directly to your accountant, I know I would get a much different story. There's no way you reach that level without, if not you, somebody that you employed finding those loopholes for you to take advantage of.
You don't become a billionaire by selling your own art. You become a billionaire by selling other people's art. You become a billionaire by selling multiple other people's art. You become a billionaire by creating a system where you can exploit. And you might not call it exploitation, but it is exploitation. When you say you haven't hurt anyone else, this is where I bring back the fact up that you sold crack to fund your rap career. Like, what do you mean? Like, Jay-Z, are you okay? You were selling crack out in the streets. You were harming people. Yes, you were hurting people. And at the end, he said, you're never going to win like that, right? And so winning is the thing that he's after. And how do you win at capitalism? You become a capitalist. Right. And I'm not sure why you're not engaging with why your form of capitalism making you a billionaire isn't inherently bad. Like, you can explain that, but you have the responsibility. Saying that you pulled yourself up by the bootstrap and you sell your art and you were compensated for your art is not the same as saying you were compensated for your art and compensated for other people's art by putting them in contracts. Slave contracts, according to Rihanna.
Not to mention, this is the first thing. Were among the first things that bothered me about this response, because you're saying that you were told to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and then you were called a sellout, and you're implying that these the things that were being said were coming from the same group of people. And why would you do that when we know that that's not true? Right. White America told you to pull yourself up by the bootstraps. You did. And it's Black people who didn't make it, or Black people who are socially conscious, whatever you want to call them. They're the ones calling you a sellout. So why are you implying that these messages are coming from the same group of people?
Also, he tried to escape his where his real money comes from in ownership by just saying, "Oh, I've made art, and when I sell my art, I just want to be compensated. I'm not taking advantage of anyone." right? Because the majority of his wealth is like ownership stakes. Like that's where he's building his wealth from. It's not because he painted a picture or he's still selling his album. Like that's not what made him a billionaire. Like that specific material isn't, you know? So it's easy to kind of distract from all that and just say, oh, like it's art. I'm selling art. Like, don't you want to be compensated for your work? And everyone would look at that and go, yeah, yeah, I get it. Like he wants to be compensated for his work. Like he's not taking advantage of anyone. Not to mention that when your money comes from ownership stakes, you are inherently using certain tax structures, certain legal protections, certain market like asymmetries that you're using for branding and all the other nonsense. Like you're inherently using that. So it's funny that he's like, no, F all that. I'm just selling art.
I'm going to skip some parts of this capitalist talking because I think we summarized it well, and let's get to this part.
Okay. I don't think so. On flux capacitor, you're talking about the NFL deal and the pushback you got from that. How do you feel about those critiques now that we're 7 Super Bowls in and each halftime show has been this big cultural event? Jay-Z responds, I think it was
This man is
understandable.
such a kiss. Oh my God, he's so annoying. Sorry.
Don't blame him. Don't blame him.
No, yeah, you're right. You are right. It's not his fault. This would not have happened but for this happening the way it does.
He was given a list of questions to ask.
Fine. All right, go ahead. So he's asking now about when Colin Kaepernick was out here kneeling and the NFL needed someone to tell the blacks to get in line, you came and you decided you would be the one, and it worked. But instead of saying, why did you undercut Colin Kaepernick's movement that was effective? Why did you do that? He's now saying, oh, people were circumspect, but you ate that down. It's now a cultural event. How do you think about those people who didn't believe in you? What?
This was
you used your wife to engage in black power. Again, the black power iconography that Beyonce evoked. You used your wife to solidify your role as the czar of the halftime show. But why is that not seen as undermining a movement? Where's that question? Okay, you're right. Whatever. So to us, he goes, I think it was understandable that we're mad. We are an emotional people. JC, please go. No, let me not say that. Who emotional girl? Right. We're an emotional people is absolutely nasty and diabolical work.
Can you hear me? Oh, perfect.
Yeah. And then the interview go, black people, you mean? And what did he say? Listen to what this man don't say. Sorry, I'm not reading. Hello. DJ, you're muted, by the way.
Sorry, hold on 1 second.
All right. Kilo, can you see this? Oh, no.
I can, but I sound raspy. But Black people for sure. I don't think that the world has to agree with everything I do. I see the world as it is. There was a moment in time when we could get in there and we could actually affect some change because the NFL was vulnerable at that moment. We can put our music on the stage as well as all the Inspired Change social justice initiative. I don't want to gloss over that. The guy who owned the teams, they're from all over and they'll live in ivory towers. They don't touch culture. So the things that we care about, but it's the right culture thing, they're like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I have no idea what that means.
How is this a response to black people are emotional? And you said at the time the NFL was vulnerable. Yes, they were being boycotted.
Mm-hmm.
And
why were they vulnerable? Why?
Right. And so what does that have to do? You use that moment to put yourself in a position in the NFL by weaponizing your ability to stop them from being vulnerable. They were vulnerable enough for you to negotiate being this halftime czar. In that position, you can guarantee them that black people will come back to the table because they had left and they were boycotting and they were negotiating and they were telling the NFL what they need to do and what they need to see happen. And you said, yeah, no, we're going with all of that. We're not doing that now because I'm here and I'm going to get paid to be here. That's insane.
Right.
Yes, it is an opportunistic way. And if we're looking at pure strategy, this is high level thinking.
I was just going to say that. That was actually, he saw a weakness and he went for it immediately.
An opportunity and did what needed to be done from a very specific lens. But by doing that, you sold out an entire movement for nothing.
About your people, mind you. Your people, your kids who are also black, your family who's also black. Like all of this was a movement for your people.
No. They're rich. And I think there is a point at which obviously black will still matter. But I think one of the things that I hate about this racist whites, the thing I hate the most about the racist whites is that you and I have more in common than you and the billionaire.
Yeah.
How you cut it. You and I have more in common, but because you're clinging on to whiteness, they will always be able to manipulate you. The problem with Jay-Z here is the exploitation of the current state of the black community to look up to a black messiah, him taking the mantle of a black messiah and wielding it only for his own benefit. That's what happened here.
Right. But only reason I mentioned that it was like a black cause in his family because, you know, he loves his daughter. He loves his family. He understands he was out there. He was out there with his people and they told us we couldn't get it. And when black people like we know he doesn't mean any of that. Like we know that doesn't mean anything. But
when you say, I don't even know what you're talking about, I have no idea what that means as a response from the people in the ivory tower, the white people. Jay-Z, are you the representation for black people in those white spaces? Please get all the way out of my face.
Yeah.
Are you dumb?
Yeah. And the fact that a movement of that caliber was able to weaken, even for a second, you know, a major entity like the NFL means something. And for him to be like, nah, F all that. I'm trying to get in here and make some money. Highlights why being a billionaire requires a certain type of mindset to begin with.
Oh my God. Hey, K.A. Show. Oh, I haven't seen you in forever, girl. I hope all is well. I mean, we talk on Instagram, but I hope all is well. Yeah, like he's saying the issue with the NFL owners is that they're ignorant to race and race relation. Are you dumb?
Yeah, well, so are you, I guess.
Like that's insane. No, they're not ignorant. Ignorance is not the problem.
No, they know, they don't care. I thought that was the whole
fight.
You don't either, though.
No, look at this interview. Look at this. Read this slowly. But just read the question and really sit with the question for a minute. Sorry, DJ, I won't drag him, but just read it, sit with it, and then we move on. I won't say a thing. Let me go on mute.
You have enough money to be in an ivory tower. Yeah, you hear me? Hello? Oh, okay, yeah. You have enough money to be in an ivory tower, but you aren't. How do you maintain that mindset? Is that something that you never lose, or is that something that you're constantly keeping yourself in check for? Oh my gosh. Come on, Jay-Z. I don't know if that's fun. I can't imagine. That can't be fun. Who wants to be successful and just not have fun? What is this conversation? This is so useless.
No, when you see it on paper, instead of the like banter and smile, you're like, girl, what are y'all talking about? When you read the interview, you're like, it's a chop. It's really a chop.
Oh, you said something earlier about promoting independence in the spirit of Prince. When you embody that, do you feel like you are leading a charge for what the successful Black man is allowed to do? I even want you to take that out of your vocab. So
you're saying the interviewer is insane. You're sitting there.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so it is not an ivory tower. We read them Epstein files. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, the fact that his people, either he or his people said, okay, like, kiss his ass so much that he's gonna have to tell you to relax. That's gonna look really good. That's exactly what this is giving.
Demas, you know I love you. I love you too. I was pregnant doing our entire show, and I finally am starting to feel normal. 2.5-year postpartum. Wait, what does Tia mean?
Too much information, I believe.
TMI. Oh, TMI. Sorry. LOL. But I'm finally becoming a real person again. Oh, I'm happy for you. I hope you and your baby doing well, your family, your husband. I hope everyone is doing well. I miss you so much. Again, I follow you on Insta, so we be over there in your comments. I'm happy you're feeling well.
All right. Congrats, Kay. All right. I would have to imagine that you got a special kick out of watching that Kendrick show since it was the first solo rap headliner. Yeah, for sure. He could have made it a little easier on himself. The artistic choice to play the new album was brave in front of that big of an audience, because even if 10 million people know some of these songs, there's 120 million people there that are like, what is he doing? As an artist, to stand up there and do it and complete your vision, I tip my hat. I had to tip my hat. I had high respect for him already, but like even more, my respect was like, he's really about what he says he's about.
Oh, yeah, cause you not. Yeah, anyway.
Right. As someone who was part of the genre's biggest rap beef, well, until now, oh my gosh, like this ass kissing is so annoying.
Right.
As a spectator, what did you think of the 2024 back and forth between Kendrick and Drake?
Pause. I have a whole rant, but I won't go on the rant. Let me tell you what is happening here in my mind. I'm going to tell you what. No. We need to talk. I said this, and I promise you, I've been coming home at 12 midnight and staying up till like 3 sometimes, trying to find what live stream I said this in. Drake is the Kendrick, what Beyonce, or let's reverse that, what Taylor Swift is to Beyonce. Here's what I mean. The industry in this TikTok era requires you to provide the fast art. Art needs to be immediate. There's no time to marinate. There's no time to think. There's no time. You need to provide a little bop to hop. You need to do that immediately, right? Taylor Swift can do this because fast food is there. You can eat it, but it doesn't nourish you meaningfully, right? And there's some people who are good and some fast food that are good, right? I'm not just crapping all over Taylor Swift's discography. It's not for me, but it's for someone. Drake is the same. They can provide you album after album after album, and they become hit after hit after hit because it doesn't take real deep thought and analysis and life experience to create Black art, for example, which some art comes from deep trauma and pain that a lot of people can just, oh, you went through that painful thing and you created this beautiful, amazing album. I'm going to take parts of it, I'm going to dilute it, and I'm going to give a wide twist to it. Right? Here you go. Right? And there is a sanitized version of the pain that produced art that becomes easily consumable, easily digestible. Kendrick cannot do that. And I don't care what no one says here. Kendrick provides bodies of work that requires time for them to marinate. Kendrick becoming the king of art rap, beautiful as it is, it requires thoughtful listeners who can sit in either their discomfort or joy or whatever they feel for an album to understand it, listen to it again, learn something new, and build in the poetry that is the art that is being provided. You don't got to do that for Drake, girl. You're going to twerk 2 times and period. You know the hotline bling here, you know Kiki over there. It is giving what it needs to give in the club. You're good. Drake can mass produce. Drake can be Drake's art and form of art, even if you think it's great, it can be mass produced. Kendrick cannot. Beyonce cannot. At least not in her current. The B-Day Beyonce maybe, but the Lemonade Beyonce, that's not something you can just. That album is not something you get to recreate twice a year. Taylor Swift, Life of a Showgirl, you can create that in your dream, girl. You can pick up, here's an album, right? And so the cultural impact, while different for Drake and Beyonce, they're more meaningful. But Kendrick and Taylor Swift can hit a larger group. You know what I mean? And they can do it consistently and sustain that momentum. They are into the pageantry of stardom and pop stardom in particular. And so watching Drake being dethroned, I understand in the moment that I was doing the review and dragging him that the rap industry was not going to be able to sustain itself without Drake feeding it the kind of consistent mass-produced music that is required for people to buy into it, because we don't have the time span to sit with to pimp a butterfly for a year. Girl, we need the next thing next month, right? And so I was always worried about hip-hop being in a lull. And I believe that this answer about rap beef is specifically about the absence of Drake being felt. Point line, period. Okay, that's my rant. Sorry. Any thoughts? Pushback?
No, nothing to add.
All right, here's the beef.
Okay. As a spectator, what did you think of the 2024 back and forth between Kendrick and Drake? I'm going to have an answer you're not going to like. Well, I don't know if you're going to like it. Just get to it. That's right. Presumptuous. There are 4 pillars of hip hop. There's breakdancing, graffiti, DJing, and battling. Okay, all right. Breakdance is not at the forefront of rap anymore. It's actually an Olympic sport. So that's dead. Graffiti,
no,
right. Graffiti, beautiful in certain places. It's not part of hip hop. The DJ was in the forefront. It was Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, Eric B. and Rakim. You don't even know the DJ for half of the artists anymore. And the last pillar is battling. We love the excitement and I love the sparring.
I mean, this is not giving straight up Timothy Chalamet.
Oh, see, I'm not too familiar with that young man either. I know he got beside himself the other day. But
Timothy Chalamet said that the classic arts are done. Like ballet it's a chop, girl. Get over it. That's what he said. This is very similar, but because he's talking down at something that is seen as not highbrow in the way that ballet is, no one cares. I care. I mean, I don't care nothing about a breakdance, but I'm sure the breakdancers, wherever they may be, care about
whoever they may be out there in the ether.
Yeah, they're somewhere, girl. And the graffiti artists, girl, they're out there somewhere.
I mean, he's also kind of determining these categories, right? He's just kind of, these are his categories. This is how he feels. You know, you may not necessarily agree.
But when you say they're dead, if you cared enough, you could resurrect them. You could inject new fuels into. You don't care about any of this, JC. Nope. You just bring it up to say they're dead, so let's move on. I'm pretty sure I see graffiti all over them streets.
I mean, no, if you're in the culture of graffiti, it is very much alive. I actually came in contact with this recently. It's just not necessarily intertwined with hip hop. It's more of like, what do you call that? Like anarchist youths and like the much younger generation pushing back and that kind of adventurous young spirit of like fighting the government. Like it's more atwined to that, akin to that now than it is like hip hop in itself. And I don't even know if graffiti was ever like a solely hip hop related thing because I don't know much about the graffiti culture, but it's very much alive if that's what you're into.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Let's see. The DJ was in the forefront. Jazzy Jeff. You don't even know the DJ for half of the artists anymore. And the last pillar is battling. We love the excitement and I love the sparring. But in this day and age, there's so much negative stuff that comes with it that you almost wish it didn't happen. Was there ever a point where battling was positive?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's very annoying.
Really? Now, people that like Kendrick hate Drake no matter what he makes. It's like an attack on his character. I don't know if I love that. I don't know if it's helpful to our growth where the fallout lands, especially on social media. The interviewer says, the Stan army's fighting. Jay-Z responds, "It's too far. It's bringing people's kids in it. I don't like that. I sound like the old guy wagging his finger, but I think we can achieve the same thing."
The
As far as
music is not selling the way it needs to sell. Hip hop is dying, and this is him pleading to Drake to come back. That's how I see it. Continue.
Okay, I think we can achieve the same thing as far as sparring with music, with collaborations more so than breaking the whole thing apart. It could stand. It could stand it before because there was no social media. You had the battle and it was fun, and then you moved on. Right now, I don't know if I could stand with the technology that we have. Okay. All right. Because it takes up so much oxygen. It takes up so much oxygen. Lovely. It's
No,
like
I need to go, Jeff. Oh my God. Go ahead. Sorry.
it's like trying to tear down people's lives. I don't know if it's worth it at this point. I love the idea that we got so much music in such a short period of time. Just everything around it was like, man, this is taking us a couple steps back. We've just grown so much that I guess I'm going to say it. I don't know if battling needs to be part of the culture anymore. We grew up from breakdancing. We love graffiti. Before, the MC's job was to bring attention to the DJ. I want to hear what the rapper is saying. Now the last pillar is battling, and these are all the things that come with it. I hate that I have this point of view on it. I do, because I know what it sounds like. It's just how I feel about it. There is clearly an agenda to silence voices.
Sorry. This is why the written version is like, I believe, better than the video. You get the one, you can see what is being said without them performing in a way that distracts you from what they're actually saying. So that's good to read. But you get these asides, which are Jay-Z following up. And they can, like, there's a way, this is him explaining things that he didn't get to explain.
There is clearly an agenda to silence voices in our community, a heavy right-wing agenda, Jay said later in a text. And the culture is happily playing along in the name of this insane thirst of stan culture to have something on the other side. We are in a strange time. I'm curious as to how this plays out. Well, the beef even kind of extended to you, right? People made it a personal thing that you chose Kendrick for the Super Bowl like you had chosen the side. Jay-Z responds, "I chose the guy that was having a monster year. I think it was a great choice."
Jay-Z is a whole liar. You could have picked anyone else. You picked Kendrick because you wanted to make a statement to Drake. He's going to say somewhere else in this interview talking about, I am Jay-Z. I don't care about a Drake. You care. You were threatened. You're a problem. You sat up there and talk about, oh, he was just having a great year. That's why I put him at the Super Bowl. You think we're dumb? No. The money is drying up because they did not understand how impactful, and regardless of whatever I dragged or said about Drake, the one thing I did not take from him is his ability to sell records, his ability to have people buy into hip hop, his ability to make songs continuously and make them hits. Let's be very clear.
Yeah.
I never
and for him to be relevant, he stay relevant. There's never a moment where he's not.
Right. And so taking that man off the throne, taking that man from the driver's seat, I hope you were putting someone there who was able to mass produce and sanitize their work for mass consumption. Oh, you didn't do it? Bloop. Sucks to suck, girl. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
You can dislike Drake, but you have to, you have to be honest about what he's offering.
Yeah, no, and I'm a drag Drake into the ground again. Period. I'm always drag Drake in the ground.
All right. Well, I read that. I chose the guy that was having
Drake probably had his biggest year during the beef. It was and platforming him made it even bigger, right? And so, like, I don't like the way that Jay-Z is attempting to wash his hands of how messy he actually was. That's insane. You were being messy. We were all being messy. Let's all acknowledge we were being messy. Like, we were all being messy, girl.
And wasn't Lil Wayne saying he should have been the one?
Okay, now, Lil Wayne, them days are behind you, Lil Wayne. You can be a feature out there. I hate saying that because I actually think Lil Wayne is a really, really one of the legends, the rap legends. Sorry,
He
go ahead.
is, but he can't perform.
I don't remember where we were.
I chose the guy that was having a monster year. I think it was the right choice. What do I care about them two guys battling? That's what's that got to do with me? Have at it. They drag everybody in it, like everyone's part of this conspiracy to undermine Drake, I guess. But it's like, what the F? I'm effing Jay-Z. All due respect to him, I'm effing Hove, respectfully. It doesn't make any sense. It couldn't be that these guys just don't like each other. I think this has been brewing, just like me and Nas was brewing. It didn't happen at the Summer Jam. That happened with Lex with TV sets, the minimum. It was a whole bunch of stuff leading up to that point. I actually regret that because I really like Nas. He's a really nice guy. Boy, bye. He was abusive towards Kelly. So get out of here. Anyway.
But not only that, like the way he's like, I'm Jay-Z, I don't care about a rap beef. Girl, you are Jay-Z. Your company is in direct competition with Drake. Drake was eating up the numbers. Like, what do you mean you don't care? We know you care. What do you mean?
Right.
Like, do you think we're dumb? Like, does Jay-Z think we're dumb? You cared about the fact that one of the most influential artists at the time was Drake. Like, what do you mean?
Right. Because I think what people aren't understanding about what you're trying to say is that if you're picking Kendrick, you have to understand that you're picking an artist that cannot reproduce financially what Drake is offering on a steady, consistent basis. And I mean, decade after decade, year after year after year. So if you're choosing to pick Kendrick, that's very specific. It's not like, oh, we just decided and it was no, because if we were truly really looking at the whole thing, you would have picked the one that was going to guarantee you money for a year after year, generation after generation. You picked Kendrick for a very specific reason. So now for you to be like, oh no, I ain't in that. I don't be paying attention to all of that.
Also, you were just bad. You're just not good at calculating things. Jay-Z is the man who saw an opportunity to become the halftime czar, becoming a billionaire. You expect me to believe that you didn't understand what you were doing when you picked Kendrick. Please get out of my face. Please get out of my face. Love that you did it, enjoyed it. Kendrick dragged Drake across the concrete, and I would watch it again. Would not change anything about my review of what was happening, but we all knew this was coming.
I don't know what y'all talking about. I don't know about no beef.
If you prevent Drake, if you make Drake look stupid enough and he's unable to sell records, you have diminished a large part of what was feeding hip hop. Like, I know what to tell you, girl. I thought we all knew this. I said this. I was looking for the clip where I said this. I said this in 2024 when it happened. I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to drag him, but please note, and I said verbatim, the Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Drake, Kendrick comparison. I made that comparison back then, and I'm making it again. Girl, I didn't know that I needed to send Jay-Z a voice note. I did not know that I would be like, hey, girl, I love what you're doing with the place. Kendrick eating the girls up. Kendrick is a poet. He is like one of them people smoke weed and write poetry. But he will not be able to maintain the kind of presence that Drake can, because Drake is a showgirl. Drake is a showgirl at heart.
I was going to say showman. You said showgirl.
You see them hitting on women with BB walking around with the same scars, girl. Drake is out there with the duck lips giving it to the girls. Kendrick is not going to do this.
Right. And not only that, Drake will drop a song, and the way he has cemented himself, they could be on TikTok, they could be all over Twitter talking trash about Drake is this, Drake is that. At the end of the day, the moment he dropped a new song, it was trending everywhere. Everybody got it on here, got it on there. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, the girl was moving units. Like Drake was in here, dipped in his bag, girl. The thing is, Drake goes to Jamaica, get a little Jamaican dip in his step. He go to Puerto Rico, get a little Puerto Rican dip in his step. Like he was like culturally appropriating here. Drake was a chameleon, and he was doing what he need. He was gonna go in there and buy new abs if he need to.
Correct, and he did. Not what?
Yeah, he was gonna get a new lace front if he need to.
Right,
Drake
some blue contacts. Oh, his license, he would have ate.
Drake was willing to do what he needed to stay afloat, and not just afloat, prominent and in control. That kind of willingness to perform and do the pageantry of pop is something that Beyonce and Kendrick does not have. You cannot be authentic. You cannot be quote unquote real. You cannot be tied in to that which we believe to be culturally relevant if you're going to be pop and popular in that way, because you have to be sanitized enough to reach as many people. The lyric has to be immediate and surface level enough, and also you have to be consumable.
Yep. And now he did all of that, and it works.
Yeah, girl, Drake is the prima ballerina, girl. Like
that man is selling it.
Yeah. Drake has to go on live to do some duck clips here and a duck clip there, here, duck there, everywhere, duck.
Everywhere,
He don't do it. He don't do it. He is going to do it.
He gonna put a little poke here, a little primp there, a little blush there. And they're okay with it.
Right. Drake would leak his own nudes just to stay afloat. Like
right. Even when the nudes ain't giving, he leaking them. Like, he don't care. He don't care because he knows y'all don't care. Like, this man knows what to do. He got the formula. He has the secret sauce. He's using it. He's doing it, and he's making money. And that's why he has the ability to come back and do exactly what he want to do. Like, I know everyone's like, oh, he's ruined after this thing. He's ruined. I'm like, not really. Give it a little time. He'll be back.
The issue fundamentally is that Kendrick Lamar makes you think if you are listening to him. Ain't nobody trying to think.
No.
Nobody trying to think nothing.
No. Well, not only that, like Drake has very catchy beats. Some things is very sing-songy. The lyrics a lot of times are very simplistic. Like you said, he knows what he needs to do. He knows how to water it down so that it reaches a larger population. Kendrick's music is only going to go so far with a certain group of people at a certain moment in time.
But and even when it goes, like, I slightly disagree, because I think it can go far and wide. But Kendrick writes. And this is why he's winning Pulitzer Prizes. He is the way he produces art requires time to live, time to write, time to correct, time to breathe, and then to provide. If Drake tries to consistently provide us with album, it's going to be crappy. I know that because it's the same thing with me. It requires time. Like it requires living, it requires writing, it requires thinking, and you don't mass produce high level thinking. I am so sorry. Anyone who told you differently is lying. If you are producing a lot of content, it cannot be high quality. It's just not a thing.
Right. And I will say, I do think, unfortunately, with today's time, and you can certainly disagree, that Kendrick Lamar, in my view, can only go so far because there's a certain level of consumer being produced that likes a certain type of music. And I do think he can kind of branch out a little bit and try to get his work out there. But the kids aren't really consuming. They're not really consuming art in a way that I feel is meaningful, unfortunately.
No. I think Kendrick can become one of the biggest artists in the world. I do think he can. I'm not saying he can't. I just don't think people are going to appreciate his music in the same way. But I also think they will. My problem is he cannot consistently provide it. I think he continuously in a large quantity, right? I think it requires like an album every year or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, like something like what Adele does. You cannot just, how Rihanna was just giving it to the girls, like back to back to back to back to back to back to back. That's because it's easily digestible, kind of like it's not. So Rihanna wasn't giving us anything deep. Like Rihanna was telling us to work, like a million. That's the kind of thing we need to see continuously for you to maintain and captivate the audience. It doesn't mean what you're doing isn't big enough to reach a lot of people. It does mean what you do, even if it reaches that many people, you cannot do it 2 times and 3 times and 4 times a year. You can't.
No, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, he showed us that he's not going to. Whether he
Oh
could,
yeah, no,
I mean, he showed he's not
he
going to.
dragged that man, left the industry, and now the industry is trying to figure out what to do. The
Yeah.
industry is the hip hop industry currently is struggling.
Yeah, I mean, I do think he's good. I do think he has the potential to be one of the biggest stars, but I have less faith that these kids can appreciate and consume his music in a meaningful way. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
No, he won the rap beef. I think we respect him. We appreciate
He definitely
it.
won the rap beef. That is without
think-
question.
I think the issue is quantity. He cannot produce enough and in the time frame required to stay relevant in the way he needs to feed everyone in hip hop.
Yeah.
Drake was feeding people in hip hop with like, yeah. Oh, here's the next one.
Well, I mean, that's the same way about how anything to do with social media staying relevant. Like it forces you to like have to drop consistently all the time because these kids are consuming the amount of media that these kids are consuming is the volume is something that we've never seen in the history of humanity. Like they're consuming that volume quickly. So in order for you to catch the algorithm, they're going to see you. You have to consistently pump literally all the time, like you were saying. And unfortunately, a lot of great artists probably have faded out into irrelevancy because
because you need to be able you need to keep up, and ain't nobody trying to keep up with these algorithms. There's still the commonplace public perception that all billionaires are bad. What's the tension in that? This is such a disgustingly framed question. All billionaires aren't bad. Being a billionaire itself is bad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why, like, if I win $1 billion tomorrow or 2 billion and I become a billionaire by winning the money, I don't become bad, right? Because I have the billion. It's becoming a billionaire when you accumulate and hoard that much wealth. The hoarding of that wealth is itself bad. The exploitation of people to hoard that wealth is bad. It's not billionaires or bad people. This allows Jay-Z to do a dusty thing that he's about to do. Read this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. I've got to give you the honest answer. There's no tension. I don't give a F what you say. You can believe what you want to believe, and people behave the way they want to behave. It's not a dollar amount. It's almost like a cop-out. You get to demonize this group of folks without fixing the actual system that exists. That's in play. Money may enhance it or may cause you to act in a way, but you was going to act like that anyway.
What?
Well, this is such a dumb thing. If you are degenerate and you don't have money, you don't get to exact your harm on a lot of people because you don't have the money. Maybe you can do it on the people around you, but that financial ability to do anything you want gives you access. So no, it does enhance and it does cause more problems if you're degenerate.
But also, he said the actual system, if the billionaires are creating and maintaining the system, then I can criticize the billionaire. What are you talking about?
But he's so annoying. Let's continue because he does something else here. We can just skip to his answer.
Okay. The next step is owning the building. No, you're staying at my hotel. There's always a next level as long as you're alive. I think as long as you stay curious in life, no matter what it is, you'll stay fed. As long as you stay curious, you won't ever get stuck. If we stay curious, there's always going to be another level. Yeah, whatever.
I mean, obviously, we're not billionaires because we're not curious enough.
Clearly. Clearly.
The problem is you. The problem is you, girl. Why did it go to Usher? Look at this. I don't know.
You know why. We ain't got time for you.
Wait, I need to play something. If I play the audio for Joe Budden, will I get the thing?
I don't. I think the audio is okay because we do it's a podcast and we do the podcast audios as long as there's no music. I think I'm not sure.
No. That's not what I'm asking. Joe Budden, iHeartRadio, whatever the dusty thing they're on, like they copyright claim everything that I've ever played with them.
Oh,
like everything. It's like the Breakfast Club. It's so disgusting.
I think
The-
just the
just the
audio is
audio.
okay.
All right, let's play just the audio. Because one thing for certain, two things for sure, you will never see me in earnest unless I'm just making content. Sitting
So what Hope
around
said.
trying to explain things to these men. Like it's not a thing that you
It just seems so stressful. It seems so like exhausting.
listen to this conversation. So on the Joe Budden podcast, Mark Lamont Hill is trying to explain why being a billionaire is unethical, right? And I just don't understand. Like, even if you disagree with people, I just hope you understand what they're saying, but comprehension is not a thing. So
Too, he didn't get there by taking advantage of somebody or by finding some loophole and exploiting that.
I disagree.
So that's what I'm saying.
I disagree.
If you look back at his story, he pioneered a lot of that stuff, a lot of the decisions and different things that he was doing.
They started Rockefeller with drug money, right?
Allegedly.
That's not taking advantage of people?
he started Rockefeller Records with drug money. Oh, the whole table went mute. The entire table defending Jay-Z went mute.
What, being
selling crack to drug addicts in your own community isn't taking advantage of getting.
It was the 80s. Hold up. What you could deem as taking advantage of somebody else may look at as survival. So
what you may deem as taking advantage of somebody else might be. I'm not going to play the rest of this because I do feel like it's going to be the mic sound too clear. The way this mic is clear.
The mic sound too crisp.
It's like, when you put in the mic, guys, it feels like it's copyright claimed in this mic. I feel like there's a copyright claim waiting for me in this mic. But so as long as I believe that what I'm doing is not exploitative, it's magically no longer exploitation. Is that what you're saying? If someone believes what I'm doing is not exploitation, if I'm taking advantage of someone and taking their money and working them like a Hebrew slave, it's completely fine.
So when I show up in court, if I tell the judge like it was survivable, like, am I getting a pass? Do I go free? Like, I was just trying to survive. So
right, like I don't understand. What do you mean? Some might see it as survival. Selling drugs in the street, yes, you're doing it to survive. Are you still not exploiting people? Is this not exploitative, or are you saying the exploitation is justified because you are surviving?
yeah, I mean, that is the mindset. I mean, black men saying that doesn't surprise me. Yeah, black men saying that doesn't surprise me. As long as I get to survive.
I urge everyone to go look at the 5th to 8th grade Common Core reading standards. You will quickly realize that many adults cannot do these. Then online arguments will be put into perspective. I'll go look. I mean, I know a lot of people, because this ain't right.
Yeah.
This ain't right.
Go ahead, sorry.
This level of logical reasoning is so useless to me that I don't know that I would have responded to it in real time. I would have just sat there and be like, okay, so you're dumb. In my mind, I wouldn't say this out loud. I'd be like, okay, you're dumb. I shouldn't engage any further.
It just feels like at this point, you can explain away any crime, really. Every crime, actually. Right? Like, even if I harm you, it's okay because like I was trying to survive. So at that point, no one's committing crimes because we're all just trying to survive.
And he doesn't make the argument that survival negates the whatever it is that you're doing as wrong or immoral. He just says some might see it as survival, which is the argument you're making, but he doesn't make it fully. So it's like, oh, please get out of my face. Also, I'm inviting people back over to rewatch anime tomorrow because I like seeing their face when that lady die. I'm going to see what else he says.
Oh,
you survive by taking advantage of people. They're not.
How are you by supply and demand?
Yes, if you supply.
So Mark Lamont said yes. By the I have not listened to this clip. I know what it was saying because Keela sent it to me. Was it earlier today or last night? I don't remember. You're taking advantage of people by supply and demand.
No, mind you, they would be great billionaires because I'm sure that's how billionaires think.
No, but no, it's not. It's not. I'm exploiting you, and I don't care. Someone has a justification. This is not actually an argument. It is so like he's just saying things.
Listen, I can't help it that people want to buy it. Supply and demand. So what I mean by that is that
No. Wait. Yes, but he's just repeating himself. Like he's not engaging at all with the argument. Like the statement is made, and you're just saying something. Like you're not engaging with the statement. You're not negating anything. You're not doing anything. You're just saying things that are unrelating. Supply and demand. Okay, fine, supply and demand. But go back to you're taking advantage of people. You're exploiting people because you're trying to survive. You say yes, supply and demand. Okay, so are you conceding?
It's because he doesn't want to say out loud that he doesn't actually care that he sold drugs to his community, right? Like he doesn't want to say that part, so he has to kind of like waffle and just say shit and try to make up. Like he's just throwing stuff and seeing what supply and demand, survival. Like he just honestly he just doesn't. I don't care. I do not care that Jay-Z sold drugs back to his community. That ultimately probably destroyed the community in ways that we're probably still feeling to this day. I do not care.
How sold drugs so you won't have? How sold drugs? Wait, let me go back. Listen to this level of argument.
It was the 80s.
I hope you guys can hear the different voices.
So what Hope said too, he didn't get there by taking advantage of somebody.
I'm jealous of something though. Jealous community, come forward. I'm jealous. I am jealous of how clear these mics are.
I was just about to say they need to drop the stats.
No, I know what these mics are. I'm not getting it. It requires too many connections. Ain't nobody.
Okay. I mean, it sounds beautiful.
Yeah, like it is so clear.
Yeah.
I think it would be like if I use this, it would always sound like I'm saying something profound. It's so clear.
It ain't on you, it's in you. No. Listen, sit in that.
Or by finding some loophole and exploiting that.
I disagree.
So that's what I'm saying. If you look back at his story, he pioneered a lot of that stuff, a lot of the decisions and different things that he was doing.
They started Rockefeller with drug money, right?
Allegedly.
That's not taking advantage of people?
What, being
selling crack to drug?
I wish y'all could see this man's face when Mark Lamont Hill said that. He sold drugs to Bill Rockefeller, right? This is his face.
Because he did not even
think about it.
Because they committed that Jay-Z is they just whatever Jay-Z said, they took that as like law, which is so.
To be fair, if I was coming up in hip hop and doing a hip hop podcast, girl, I'd be like, Jay-Z is that girl. Y'all just hating. It is what it is. Hey, Jay-Z, let's do it.
No, you'd be right over there with Mark looking at these men like, y'all are dumb.
If I did not have a life or morality and this was the only way I could make money, that's a chop.
Listen, if we had no morals, we would be
Jay-Z would be the least of my problems. Girl, ain't nobody got time. Go talk about Jeff Bezos. Leave Jay-Z alone. That little man, that poor billionaire just trying to survive and take care of his family.
No. The reason why we're in the way we are is because we're not curious enough. Never forget that. Yeah.
Your community isn't taking advantage of getting.
It was the 80s. Hold up. What you could deem as taking advantage of somebody else may look at as survival. So
you survived by taking advantage of people. They're not.
How are you by supply and demand?
Yes, if you supply,
but that's not. Yes, literally. Yes. I think that's
that's not what made you. But y'all made like that's not what made a billionaire though. That's what I'm saying though. No, but
so y'all made like 10 arguments. Let me respond to a couple.
Listen to this. I'm gonna break it, simplify it.
I'm gonna simplify it, girl. Please.
Wait, who said they're gonna simplify it? Which one?
Girl, light skin over there. I don't know his name. Something, the one that's always angry. Here's the thing: they're not allowing Mark Lamont Hill to speak.
Yeah, they don't want
that's
to.
Intentional.
Yeah, they don't want him to.
I'm just so irritated by that. I'm so irritated by everybody being taken aback by common damn sense. So you're telling me that y'all, as people who are like no rap lore, know all of these things, I'm gonna go ahead and venture to say that every single one of you in that room were aware of how he started out, but it just doesn't like it's.
They don't care.
They don't care. It doesn't matter.
Now you understand that Epstein email right here. Thank you. Because ain't no way you got like they just so useless to me.
Survival. You're talking about survival makes you become a billionaire. So you can become a billionaire by merely surviving.
Period. I'm just a wee little billionaire over here trying to make my way through life. It's real difficult for me. I'm merely surviving by exploiting everyone in my vicinity.
And it's just so annoying. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying period with what you said.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, like, it's just so annoying how they like to pinpoint when the magnitude of something matters, because okay, you're devaluing the fact that he made his initial pool of money that funded the career that led to his billionaire status. He got that money by harming people, but that doesn't matter to you because what? It's been long enough since that took place. That's not currently how he's making money.
Well, you saw the pivot, right? Because they said, oh no, he didn't take advantage of people. And he's like, oh, well, didn't he sell drugs to fund Rockefeller? Then there's a pivot. Oh, well, like that's not how he made his millions. No. That's not what we were talking about.
That's how he made the money that led to those millions.
Right. Now you're trying to change the argument. That's not what you said before. That's not what we were talking about. Stay focused.
And just like what Thema said, talking about supply and demand. Are you serious? Do you know how many horrible things are in demand right now as we speak? Correct. And that demand being met is causing people to be harmed severely or unalived.
Right. I mean, the Epstein files is also a display of
just a bunch of demand.
Supply and demand. Now what?
Just a bunch of demand of the worst things imaginable.
Of the worst time.
Why?
Yeah. But that's okay.
If I start a t-shirt line, right, and I sell $10 t-shirts, and I sell 100 million t-shirts, I'm a billionaire. Now we can go say, yo, yeah, you made this money off these t-shirts, but there's somebody in Pakistan, or there's somebody in Portugal, or there's somebody in China that may be working under adverse conditions that are not United States standards, and so as a result of that, you are still
Are you saying them people don't count? You're saying
exactly.
In my head, I thought he was going to be like, if I'm making these t-shirts from scratch, my Nora Smith on, period, cooking it up in the kitchen, and I'm selling 150,000 t-shirts by myself, I'm doing it by my, period, then you go do that and prove me wrong. Yeah. I want to see you do that. But yes, if you are exploiting people's labor, even if they're not American, you are still exploiting people's labor. Are you dumb?
Isn't it not funny that the example that he used just immediately involved
exploitation?
Yeah, right.
Yes.
No, what made me laugh is Themis was thinking what I was thinking. I was like, oh, he's gonna say, like, is it wrong that I became a billionaire? Like, I made these t-shirts, like I put my work in. Like, I was thinking
that's what he said.
No. His example was, what if the exploitation is a little bit farther out?
Yeah. No, because God forbid, those t-shirts are made here. Like, God forbid, no, you're going over to low cost areas to get it for pennies.
No, this man said, hey guys, I have an idea. So to not exploit people, how about we exploit people far away?
Right. Like, how about we like remove it a little bit, like a little
out
bit
of sight, out of mind.
Movement here, yeah.
Out of sight, out of mind, for sure. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because God forbid,
they're just degenerate to me. Like,
God forbid you manufacture the t-shirts in America and they're not $10, they're $100, which means you won't have to sell as many t-shirts in order to reach billionaire status. But no, let's sell them for $10 because we can get them made overseas for 5 cents. Yep. Okay.
You want to know what's bad? You want to know what's really bad? The fact that I literally thought he was going to come up with a good example. And that would have been a good example. The only pushback is like, you physically cannot do that, so period, go try it. But you cannot physically do that. But that's not what he said. He literally just like undermined his argument in his question. And it's just like, girl, the thing is, I don't mind you being wrong. I mind you being dumb. And this is just really dumb.
Demons, we should have known better than to trust that he was going to say any. Give a good
Beautiful,
example.
Yes, taking advantage of somebody.
Yeah.
Like if that's the case, then anybody that reaches millionaire status, fuck billionaire status by somebody else's morals is still corrupt.
Yes. If you do it that way, you are still exploiting. The difference is you're not exploiting on the level of a billionaire.
Right.
And there is an added issue with the hoarding of that much resources while also exploiting that many people. That's the issue. Yes, congrats. You were in class.
Right. And not only that, it's not like you're exploiting the oppressor. You go and exploit your own people. Like there's not that I would say that that's like completely like removes you from responsibility.
I mean, at least he said he gonna go overseas.
He said over yonder.
So, okay, a couple things. First to what Jay-Z said. He said that the record industry kind of makes you feel like you're wrong for making money off your art. I think that's right.
I think he said society, but
sure.
Yeah,
but it's really the industry people, right? When you want to.
All right, Mark Lamont Hill, please stop, pack it up, go home. Nobody care nothing about what you got to say. None of these men care.
No.
They do not care. Everything you say, they're just gonna come up with a thing. Let's do a
because
quick
they're
fire round.
already committed to Jay-Z. So
I literally said this was gonna be 2 hours long, and it's 2:30. I am going to defend Usher. Let me explain why I'm going to defend Usher. Usher said he has seen Sean Combs do nothing wrong. He loved the man contributes so much to the world, blah, 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 whatever. Here's what y'all need to know. What did y'all expect him to come out and say? Think about it. Think about it for 2 seconds.
Tell me again. Say it again.
Let me say this. I would have expected him to not say anything. But do y'all really think he can say, yeah, Diddy is a demon. I've been known Diddy was a demon, so I sent Justin Bieber over there as a child?
So
y'all think he really was going to go against Diddy?
Well, the people who... so when P. Diddy was having this little press run or when everything was going on and people were coming out and everyone was making a little comment there, a little comment here, I remember explicitly Usher kind of like making the same comments he's making now. Like, I don't feel like this is like new.
Oh no, this is new. Usher was mostly silent. I was waiting for Usher because I was waiting to drag him.
But then they asked him, they said, would you send your son to P. Diddy's camp? And he
said no. Yeah, he said no because there was a lot of naked women. Wait, there's a difference between him defending Diddy now and saying, I don't know. Mind you, Diddy is on camera dragging a woman, kicking a woman, hitting a woman. And you were like, I've never seen. So you just closed your eyes throughout the whole trial.
No, you're right. No, you're right. No, you're right. Because I guess in my mind, I didn't expect, because Usher never really said, I didn't expect him to say anything like, "Oh, P. Diddy's wrong." Like, I didn't expect him to like come. You're right.
Yeah.
It's 2 different things. He literally came out and said, "I don't know that person," and I hate when people say that.
So here's the thing: Usher gonna get his drag. I'm building a video now because I was waiting for him to come out and talk. He's gonna get a drag. Yeah. I'm defending him against people who said Usher should have said something bad about Diddy. No, he just a degenerate. What do you mean?
Right, that's my point. Like, he never gave.
Wait 1 second. It is insane to me that he would send a child over to be with Diddy while saying he would never send his child to be with Diddy. There is nothing. The people, the world we live in, we probably are in hell, or like there is like a low frequency thing happening where people are just unplugged in a way that does not make sense. Why would you look to Usher to call out Diddy when Usher was sending children over there to a child over there to be with Diddy and saying he wouldn't send his child to be with Diddy. That is the chop that you need. There was no, don't pass go. That is it. Right there is all you need to know about Usher. That is it.
Right. That was my point. I was like, I don't understand what people was expecting from Usher. Like, he never gave the guy.
Give him grace because he was a child. Give him grace for that. But as an adult, when you send someone else's child over to a man that is degenerate, that you said on record that you wouldn't send your own child to, there is no question. Why is the audience out here pretending to be dumb? Like, why are people out here pretending to be dumb? Like, oh my God, where's Usher? Oh my God, I can't believe Usher said that. Are you dumb? Are you stupid? Usher is complicit.
I mean, did Usher ever give Freedom Fighter? Did he ever give, I'm going to fight these men and I'm always, like, I'm confused. Maybe I didn't know people saw Usher in such a, like, positive, like, hero, like, amazing, like, uplifted. Like, I didn't know they saw him like that because I never did. Like, he has a lot of terrible, harmful rumors about him, even outside of connected to P. Diddy. So I didn't know we were still.
I don't know. I don't think it's, I mean, at least based on what I picked up on, I haven't picked up on any like high regard for Usher. I mean, we already know how like Black women stay when it comes to like the Black male artists and stuff like that. But that aside, I think what I just got from it is that people just really, really, really want him to spill tea. But what I don't think they're realizing is that by incriminating Diddy, he would be incriminating himself. Yes. And so Usher is just one person I don't think we're ever going to hear from. I'm not hopeful about Justin Bieber either.
That's why Justin Bieber showed up and tried to fight him. What do y'all mean? Like Justin Bieber was
right.
Like,
we gotta like read between the lines because we are never gonna get the full story from Usher. I feel like the only way we would get the story from Justin Bieber is if he's like reaches old age and like just doesn't care anymore. But like I don't think we're ever gonna hear from these people.
And Justin doesn't owe us that one because being
he doesn't.
Victim, yeah.
It's his story.
I'm allegedly. I don't want to put anything on him.
Right.
But
quickly. Chilli, a degenerate, not gonna go over. Point, just go to Lovely T did a great video on this, loved it, actually watched it before I came on the train home. So I enjoyed that. So y'all can watch that. Degenerate, I don't know why people are crying. That girl has been a problem, whatever. And also Nick Cannon has been a degenerate. I'm not sure why people are always acting confused. This man impregnated a bunch of women walking around. Like, this man has been a degenerate. Like, please stop. All right. Now we go quick. That's all I have for them two people. Now we go here quickly. I should have been gone. My friends are waiting for me. So let's get into this. I want to give this some time. Do you think we should come back and do this later? Because I don't think this is the speed with which I'm about to go over this.
If you can't give it, if you can't give the what it needs, you should probably.
I cannot. Not too much. I've been very absent with my friends, and I think that I need to at least give them time because I've been working too much. Yeah, do Brandy later. All right. Yeah, come back later. Good. Yeah, I'll do that. All right. So those were my thoughts generally. We are going to go into the after show and hear y'all final thoughts, and then I have to go. I might come back this week. No, I can't. I'm hosting a dinner party tomorrow. Maybe Sunday. We'll see. All right. No, it's not an accident. Themis is Chilli a degenerate because of her post. Yes. And that was not an accident. I don't care how that girl a whole liar. The thing I hate about Chilli is the fact that she decided that she gonna lie instead of double down. Like, I like a good double down. Let me drag you for your degenerate position. Don't be like, oh my God, guys, I did not know. Meanwhile, you're following every MAGA person. Chilli, get out of my face.
Very.
I did a savory charcuterie board. I'm gonna try to do a sweet charcuterie board now. Final thoughts.
This
is a protein drink. Let me finish it.
Oh, good. Get that protein. And my thoughts are, I feel like when it comes to the billionaire conversation, I feel like we've discussed this a couple of times, not on air necessarily, but the more money you make and the more removed you are from society, you don't eat with these people, you're not in community with these people. The farther detached you get from the rest of humanity, the less you start looking at people as humans. And I think the farther you get, and we have to understand how much $1 billion is and what access you get to $1 billion. These people are not walking around with us. They're not eating at the same table as us. That's just not a thing.
Yeah.
The more removed they get, you are not a human to them. They don't respect you. You are no longer like a living human, like a living, breathing person. So when that kind of money forces you to be like that and become that detached from people, then yeah, you do not feel any connection or any responsibility to people. You just don't. And that's the psychological nature of becoming a billionaire. And that's why I personally do not believe we should have billionaires. At a certain point, you have to protect people from themselves. Sorry, not sorry. That's just how it is. We should not be allowing billionaires, because when you allow billionaires, you get this heavy network of disgusting, horrible human harm. That's what you get, because they don't look at you as a human. It means nothing to them. They're not crying. They're not upset. There is no connection. It's nothing. It's zero to them.
Yeah,
And
that's how they can send you to war and position you like play game boards. Like,
and it's a psychological problem that's happening as they gain those billions. That's what's happening. The emotional disconnect with society. And so when you try to tell me, oh, everything's going to be okay and I'm going to be ethical and all that, you can try your very best. I don't necessarily even believe that all these billionaires are choosing to be like that. I think it is a natural consequence of becoming a billionaire and removing yourself from society. I think that is a natural consequence of that. So when that happens,
there is one caveat, and the leftists are gonna eat me up. I think if your valuation of $1 billion is including assets where, like, you have a multi-million-dollar company that provides help to other people, but like you don't have, like, you are not in the way that we think of a billionaire. I think we generally think about people with $1 billion to spend, as opposed to like you are worth $1 billion because you own a business that is like a multi-million or $1 billion business. And depending on what that business does, I'm like, if you don't have $1 billion to spend, or if you're not you have to exploit people.
You have to.
Fundamentally, what I'm saying is, if your worth comes from a business or a company, whatever, doing something, and because of the valuation of the business, for you to not be a billionaire, you have to divest from the business, I think there is an argument there. And I think that's the argument a lot of billionaires have been using. I went to watch, I'm not going to say who, do a conference the other day, and this is the argument they made, but they didn't own such a business. Like, your company, there is no billionaire that I know of right now that has a business that is like functionally to help people.
Right, like those are the exceptions of the exceptions of the exceptions. If you're $1 billion,
no. I'm not pushing that. I think your statement is right. I'm saying theoretically, that does not currently exist.
Right.
Like not even just like what that business does. If that business makes money while also helping people, that is very important. But what I'm also concerned about is how, like, the level of your lowest level employee. Are they making enough where they're able to provide themselves the necessities, and still have enough left over to be considered, still have enough left over to kind of be considered financially stable ultimately? Like, what is contributing to your wealth? How is it contributing to your wealth? Like what is actually being done, why you are amassing a certain level of financial success from it, but also who is being negatively directly impacted by the way that you are making money?
Right.
Because
I think people are misunderstanding what I'm saying, and I understand why, so I don't mind getting dragged for it. I can explain slightly, but I don't have the time. When we talk about a company valuation
Mhm.
process of determining the business economic worth for like the asset-based valuation or discounted cash flow or like market comparables. Like I think it's a complicated metric. And if
100%.
that valuation of a company puts you at a billionaire status, you're not like you are a billionaire based on owning a company based on that company's valuation. But if that company, depending on what that company does and how you either reinvest in your employees or whatever, like the question is, should you own that company? And
Right.
does it do a bad person to own that company, regardless of what that company does? The issue I'm having is if the company does good
Mhm.
and cares for the employees and people, like there is a way that that can work. I don't think in this world it can, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't think it exists.
Yeah. Like
Because
that would be lovely. Like that would be. I
But
think that
I
would be
am
lovely.
saying that I think it is complicated to do valuations, and I think the valuations of companies are generally wrong. It's like a weird estimate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I agree. I feel like that would be an example that we would all be more willing to hear out, you know. But like you said, in this world, it's and it
Yeah.
probably can't happen because of the nature of a human person. You know what I mean? Of
Oh
a
yeah,
human
no. Yeah,
It's because
I mean,
of greed. Like capitalism, well, I feel like what we're describing is capitalism, like the upsides of it, but capitalism can only benefit the masses, the majority of us, if there are like barriers and restrictions and things
Yeah.
of that nature put in place. There has to be a cap. There has to be a ceiling. There isn't one currently, and that's what's contributing to exploitation, because the people who are acquiring more and more wealth, they're just continuing to do so without there being an end in sight. So long as
Yeah.
that's the process, somebody has to pass that buck in order for it to reach them.
And you know,
yeah,
there are
last week I
3,400.
saw a company and when they were doing the valuation of the company, the amount that came up was very shocking to me. And I was like, boy,
Too high or too low?
like it was so high. And I was like, oh, but like it feels like anyway. So it just didn't make sense to me because I would not have guessed that. So like it's something that does anyway. I'll tell y'all in the back.
Yeah.
But it was just there is a way that we reduce conversation that I agree with currently. Like being a billionaire is unethical, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so I accept that. I agree with it. I'm trying to fit that into a world where it is very complicated to actually get to the actual worth of a company and an individual and contributions, right? Like, so I don't know how to do it, but I do think you're right. So I think flattening, this is the one time where flattening works better than what I'm doing theoretically.
And you know, I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and they had looked it up that there was, I think, is it over 3,000 billionaires globally. And when you truly think about how much a billion is, that is way too many.
Mm-hmm.
That's like
and to think about how the millions upon millions of people who, not to say that their wealth should belong to other people, but like when you think about just like things like cost of living and stuff like that and average rates and things like that, like those 3,000 people, how many millions of people would be stable if that wealth were to be like parsed up amongst them? Like it's just insane to think about.
And you could take a little bit of each and actually help the world in a way that was meaningful without significantly reducing their ability to be
exactly.
But the greed part is the issue, right? Like that's the problem.
They're not going to stop taking. An external entity needs to be there to take from them, and at the very least ensure that they're paying their fair share. I don't think anybody would care about the rich at all if they weren't avoiding paying taxes, if they weren't like, essentially forced to do their part, if they weren't forced to take a portion of that wealth that they couldn't possibly like spend in their lifetime and just redistribute, not even redistribute, but funnel that money into things that were for the greater good. Like they have to be forced to do that because they're not going to do it on their own.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we all kind of agree on that. And I get what you're saying, Themis, because if my company is so successful that it's producing at a level that I'm connected to that company, I therefore am valued at what my company is making. That doesn't necessarily mean that I am partaking in billions of dollars in that.
Particularly if you're using the company is actually the entity itself, which it is legally, and it is doing what it needs to do to like build this future city and help people, whatever.
Like sucking out chemicals in the air or making our food better.
You're not just using it to extract wealth for yourself. Like you're still connected to it, and you are a billionaire because it's your company. And I don't know that I buy the argument that you need to give it up and whatever. But I don't think that's possible. I've never seen that happening. And these billionaires are lying when they pretend that's what they're doing. They're creating value. Go shut up.
Well, they'll also tell you that like their product is helping the world, right? They'll kind of disguise whatever their company is doing into the argument of like, but I am helping.
And I think that's why like help. Whether or not the company is helping, like that's important, right? But who is the company hurting? Who and what is the company hurting will always be what's most important to me. Because I don't care if the company is claiming to end world hunger, if behind the scenes it's like, this is an extreme example. Behind the scenes is trafficking a bunch of people, right? Like I don't care about the upsides. I mostly care about the downsides. And if your company, regardless of how much money you have relative to the company or what your valuation is, if the way that your company handles economic downturns is by instituting reductions of force versus your bottom line being impacted, then you're still going to be part of the problem, even if you're not at like billionaire status, right? So this is definitely
if your profit separate from your cash flow, I need to go. Is why you are at $1 billion. We have a problem.
Yes, exactly. If you have to have a workforce in poverty in order for you to rake in those millions, if not billions, you're not meant to have them.
The narrow way to create it, what I'm talking about, is almost an impossibility to the point that I can't even do it. I'm also tired, but I can't do it right now. That I know for sure. I can create this schema for the ethical billionaire. So, I mean, I think you guys get it generally, so that's good enough for me. All right, I gotta go. Love you all so much. I am so sorry about the Brandy book, but I will get back to that next week or Sunday.
Well, it was nice being here. Thank you. See you
guys.
Everyone. Bye.
Mustard is your color. I had to do that quickly. Thank you.